If you're doing that right now, if your first thought when somebody accomplished something or someone's doing well in life, if your first thought is that they cheated, I promise you, you suck in life right now.
Facts. Facts. Private Conversations. We are back. A new setup this time and a very special guest. After a little hiatus, it was only right that we come back with a banger. We're about to have a real cool conversation right now. I think I can speak for all of us when I say that we haven't been excited about a podcast like this in a while. So it's very cool to tap in with one of the, arguably the strongest guy I know. We might have to have him. We might have to have him arm wrestle Manny. Yeah, because Manny's been taking out arm wrestling champions in his spare time. But I don't even know where to start. You have so many accolades, Mr. Olympia. You have what is the IBFF?
IFBB.
There you go. I mean, just title after title, award after award. And then you've built an incredible social media following. I feel like you make better men, if that makes sense, with the messages that you come across. And I will be open and honest. There was a time where the world was in a crazy place 4 or 5 years ago, and people's online opinions could get thrown around and it could make you feel some type of way. And there was a time where I may not have agreed, though I've never had an issue with you, but I didn't always agree with the message. But then over time, I think that it's kind of sank in a little more. And so I have to give you your credit for that. But I just want to introduce you all to Mr. Jason Poston.
Thanks, brother. Man.
There was a lot to pack in there because we haven't talked to you in a while, and so there was a lot to like.
And dad, you got to add the dad part.
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah, since we've all met, I've had 4 kids.
Isn't that crazy?
I met you guys before the kids, so
yeah. Jason met us at the warehouse.
Yeah,
Manny actually introduced us to him, and then we hit it off right then from the jump.
Yeah.
And we've been friends ever since then.
Cutting right into it, obviously today's theme really needs to hit home because you are a sneakerhead, you are a fitness master, and so we want to touch on some of those topics, see where they intertwine, and just see if we can get some good advice out to the world.
And a brother in Christ.
Amen.
So, I mean, in all reality, one of my things is I want to talk more a lot about like discipline. You know, I feel like there's people that are passionate about things in life, but if they don't have discipline, then their passion can't really get them anywhere. Yeah. And I noticed that your life is very, very disciplined because there's times where you do it a lot because you're always gaining new followers, but you always show the befores and afters and like the things you used to do to the things you do now. And I feel like everyone has been in that form before, whether it's alcohol, drugs, depression or whatever, and to get over that, to get to where you're at now, it takes a lot of dedication. And so there's just a few things that I think we could touch on to maybe help motivate other people, educational things we can talk on. I want to talk about the peptides as well.
Yep.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to heal faster.
Yep. What it's like to do what you do while having twins and 2 other newborns. So it's just a multitude of things I think it would be cool to go over. Maybe you even just kind of start from the beginning, but, you know, maybe give a little explanation of where you were and the realization you had to get to where, you needed to be.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's definitely been a journey. So now I'm in my 40s, hit 42. Proud of that. I know I was scared of that when I was younger. I was like, man, I don't want to be old, but 42, still hanging in there. Still run circles 42. Around the 22-year-olds. That was my goal. But I got into fitness as a teenager. And the reason why was because the sports weren't going well. And I was so competitive. Like, I wasn't really attracted to one certain sport. I was just attracted to competitiveness. Like, if I could, like, in a healthy way, beat you at something, I always loved that. I love challenging and practicing to see if I could go and just dominate someone, even if it meant I was losing. Like, that's why, I mean, I'm 5'10.5", but I still played basketball like crazy, getting dunked on and not starting because I was competitive. But I lost my vision in one eye, and it's called keratoconus. This tissue formed over the eye. I couldn't even see my hand out in front of me.
Jeez.
And so it messed up my sports. Like you could toss me my phone right now, I would not catch it because
Still to this
So
day?
even I was about to say to this day.
no, I got it fixed.
Okay,
I got
right.
it. But it ruined the whole sports vibe.
Yeah.
The momentum of playing sports was halted. I mean, I couldn't shoot a 3-pointer. Couldn't even catch it. If you threw me a basketball for a pass, I was like, where is it? And so it was bad. But I had a cornea transplant, which was crazy. At the time, I'm just doing what doctors are telling me. But I was the first person under the age of 60 to do this surgery in the history. So it was a exploratory research surgery.
So what's the ratio of people that get what you get?
Well, that's what they
Is it
say. They said it was
small?
genetic, and I'm a big believer. We're going to talk about science and disease and health stuff to help optimize your body and perform and make money and have sex like a champion. Like we're going to talk about all that. But the thing is, people place that upon themselves. It's the whole genetic thing. Almost 99% of it is all false. Like cancer, that's not genetic. Diabetes, that's not genetic. And either is my eye disease. They said it was. But I'm like, there's no history of anyone ever. It was from me itching my eyes, basically, with allergies. My whole childhood. I don't know. I'm sure you remember when you were kids. Like, if your eyes itched,
Yeah.
boy, you itched them hard.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
now we're adults. We're like, okay, man, I'm
Yeah.
not going to itch my eye raw. But when I was a kid,
I have LASIK, so I'm always too scared to itch my eye. Because I watch them like cut it open, flap it, laser it, flap it back, brush
Yeah.
it with glue. So whenever I rub, I try so
Yeah.
hard not even to fuck with my eyes.
don't do it. I mean, I did it for probably, I don't know, all the way till I was 19, and it just caused, and the allergies are what did it. It was allergies from milk. And so anyways, they cut my cornea off, put on a donor's eye, and they wanted to ask me, like, do you want to know? And then most likely it's a child. I was like, no, I'll pass. Like, I don't want.
Baby eye?
It's like, yeah, they said a child. Like, do you want to know so you can write a thank you letter or anything like that? And I was like, no, I'm grateful,
Thank
but
you to who?
Yeah.
I don't want to think about that person the rest of my life. I don't know. Maybe other people might say, oh, you're a piece of crap for not wanting to know. I was like, I just don't want to know.
Yeah.
But my kept the eye. They said it'd be 10 years. It's been like 25 years, 20
So is it an entire eye?
Yeah.
Wait,
This-
wait.
The layer
How do
around
you
the
think-
cornea.
Just the cornea. Okay.
How do you
Yeah.
thank the person? Like the person's alive and they donate part of their eye? I'm confused.
They passed away.
Yeah, it's
Right, but you just thank the mom or
You
the
thank
dad
the
or
family,
whoever. I'm
yeah.
like, you can't thank the person.
No,
obviously.
they sold the
It's
eye
not
from a less privileged country.
Yeah.
Well, back then too, like technology wasn't the same. I'm assuming, right? Technology
market
wasn't
for
like it was
corneas.
now.
Human harvesting.
Which eye is it?
This eye, my right eye. Yeah, you can't tell.
And how do they get the eye
I
color
had
to match?
sutures around it. Because it's not the inside of that; it's just the outer layer.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Kind
don't
of like
know,
that
so I
same
don't-
layer that they peeled off.
Right. Yeah,
your-
that's when they switched over.
Okay. I thought the whole eyeball was just out. You got a baby eye.
I should
Pop
tell
your
that
eye
story.
out.
I should
Yeah.
say that
Oh my
because at the same
God.
time, a scary movie came out about a girl who it was
Oh,
a Japanese film, and she saw ghosts and dead things like the rest of her life. And I was like, "Oh, great! This movie would come out right
Right as
now."
you're doing
It
it.
was the same directors as The Ring. They
Yeah,
made something
yeah.
about
And
this.
what age was this that this happened?
I was 19.
And is this what kind of like did it make you depressed, not being able to like focus on sports and knowing
Nah,
that?
man, I was super driven and positive. I just started lifting weights, and I didn't know where the weights were going to go, but I was like, all right, I'm obviously not going to do anything with sports for a career or college or anything. And then my eye was repaired like a year later, and I'd say 2 years later, the depth perception came back, and I could hoop and ball, and I was better than ever because then I spent those 2 years lifting weights.
Yeah.
Whereas in high school, I didn't lift, but
Yeah.
then I started lifting, and then my boys come back in town. We're playing flag football and basketball. Like, damn, Poston, like, you're getting big. And I was like, yeah, I just started lifting weights, eating protein, taking my creatine. Like that was the foundation of Poston, just like, starting just to keep myself busy and out of trouble. And, so during that time I was also got in a lot of trouble. I was in and out of jail 30 times before I was 21.
Wait, how many?
Jeez, really?
30?
Just fights, stealing stuff out of cars, stealing. We felt like as youth at that age, growing up kind of poor, that it wasn't wrong to steal from rich people.
take from people.
And that's why I'm not too hard. Like, yeah, it's wrong, but I understand when you see all this looting and all this stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you understand that.
People are hungry.
I'll give a little empathy, or I'll give a little grace to the young people. They need guidance, right? And that's what we didn't have.
So wait, what kind of like Like cars, houses, like were you boosting?
I wouldn't steal a
stuff?
car because honestly I didn't know how. But we probably would have if we had that knowledge.
Scott's like, did we just become best friends?
Is this like look in the window, see a bag, smash it, grab it, and
the
run?
smash and grab, stores. Just
What
stealing.
city is this all taking
Yeah, we're
place
just
in?
taking
Yeah,
down
Grapevine.
Oh shit!
This is here?
He's like right here.
Right down the There's a low income side of Grapevine.
I was just about to say
and that's-
where in Grapevine.
Yeah.
What?
Anyone who's watching this has been a Grapevine, knows the hill and knows some of the trailer parks, and then all my friends. There's
There's some areas.
I don't like when people talk about their sob stories. They think they're poor. Like, there's countries that are a lot more poor than us. Like,
sure.
but light bill wasn't always on. Rationing the milk, rationing the food, all that. I didn't know any better though. But until I went to Colleyville Heritage High School, I was like, man, okay, now I'm with rich kids. This dude's got a Hummer, and this guy's got a Mercedes.
Yeah, that was
And
my
like,
high school.
Yeah, I didn't have no car.
So you and your friends would do this, and then you would go home and like share with your family the stuff you stole, or how'd that work?
I probably would have given my mom something and not told her it was stolen. But I mean, I got caught, so they knew I was a thief now. They got
Yeah, he
caught.
was getting caught every time.
And
He's
I was
35.
selling the biggest flip or the biggest hustle was stealing polo boots and selling them at school. Because these kids at school had the money for it. They're at Colleyville Heritage. So I would steal polo boots or Timberlands or man, we would
You
even
were a reseller
Heelys.
before a reseller.
Man, I would have my, and then my senior year, I got a little Ranger, and I would have them in the back of my truck, like come out there, and I'd have like 8 pairs of polo boots. So I'm
Pop in, like in Houston where they pop trunk and have like all the mixtapes and
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
for
And y'all
sale.
just got that from like department stores or
we had, little Journeys was probably the biggest spot.
Okay.
Because I mean, I would make connections with the people working there, or I would work there until I got
Yeah,
fired.
and throw in some hand stickers too.
Yeah, Jog, I remember those. I used to always go get those. My mom would drop me off. I'd go hit up Spencer's for the little hand sticker
stickers,
and
yeah.
see who designed it that
Yeah.
time or whatever.
Right, verified on there.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you know. Verified by Poston.
So real quick, Jason, one of the craziest things that you've ever told me was that you were like me and Scotty size when you first started, like 170, 180, something like that. And it's hard for me to even comprehend that type of transition because I can't even imagine myself getting that big. Can you talk about what type of real mental fortitude goes into having a transition of being 175 pounds, skinny guy to Mr. Olympia?
It comes down to like, what is your goals and dreams? I mean, not everyone wants to get super muscular. And then when they realize what they have to do to add muscle every single year, they realize this doesn't fit with their lifestyle. Or in a lot of cases, they don't have the work ethic to do it. But 155 when I graduated high school, 10 years of lifting weights, completely natural, trying to take advantage of supplements and stuff. But I think I got up to 185, 180 being the heaviest. I'm like 5'10" and a half. And so it was the way I looked at things like statistics or like mathematically, like how many pounds am I gaining each week or each year? And I averaged it. It was like 5 pounds I would gain every year. So out of high school, it was like 160 the next year, 165,
keep going up.
170, 175. And then you get to 180 and you're just stuck like Chuck.
yeah,
Like,
that's me.
The
I've
muscle.
never been 190, and I've
Yeah.
worked and ate my ass off, and I can't break a plateau.
That's when it gets hard. That's when it gets hard. There's, a certain amount of calories, and then you break down the calories. There's certain particular macronutrients you need. It's not just like any food is equal. You need like quality, organic, like just food from the earth. And you need to time it right. So it gets complicated. People are like, a guy like you, if I, and I was a nutritionist, I would absolutely give you a ton of carbs before and after your workout. So that's your main source of fuel, not your body's own muscle. Because he's like writing down a diet plan. I mean, the 100 grams of carbs before, 100, maybe 150 after. Like just a ton of white rice or a ton of rice, or we would even mix in some sugar post-workout. We'd have like,
Does that mess up with if I'm trying to get a flat stomach or a six pack or anything like that, eating a lot of carbs? Like I feel like a lot of times that all goes to this lower belt area.
I feel like you got
Let me see, bro.
that's all in the workout.
I got some fat right there, bro. I got some fat.
Yeah, but that is a metabolism thing. I think that's the key is losing that, is putting on more muscle. I mean, muscle equals metabolism. So the more muscle you have, the more fat that's going to come off.
Who did you learn from the beginning? Like, was there anyone you looked up to in the bodybuilding world? Starting
I
off?
read, like, if you want to be in the fitness industry, the more knowledge you have, it's the same thing with what you guys do. The ones with the most knowledge are going to apply that to their business, and you're going to have a longer career versus just trying to wing it, like being, a half-ass business person in your industry. I took it serious. So I read a lot of books. At the time, the first book I read was the Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding. That's so basic now, but it is a good foundation for everyone. And Arnold wrote it, but he probably has people write it.
Yeah,
Arnold
write it
didn't
for
write
him.
it.
Yeah.
But he sat there and, had a ghostwriter or something.
Was he somebody that you looked up to around that
back
time?
then, for sure. Yeah.
He still lifts weights to this day. I've seen clips where like and someone told him like, why do you still do it? You're like 60 something years old. And he said, it's routine, it's discipline. He's like, I have to do this in order to do everything else. He's like, I didn't work out just to be who I am. I worked out because I enjoyed it and it became a part of my life.
Just the other day, randomly, it was like somebody in the gym, and it said like when Arnold is the only person I would let mess up my set. And so they're like filming themselves do a workout, and then Arnold just comes like walking across the camera.
I mean, I feel like Arnold has to
How
be
many more
like,
sets you got, bro?
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like Arnold has to be like someone that a lot of people in fitness look up to. Right?
Does he was
I
that
met
just
him,
like in
there,
passing or
showing him a picture where I met him. I'm not sure if the camera can see that, but
was that in passing or was that something that you were able to like y'all know each other or was it just
he doesn't know my name, but I mean, I've met him probably 5-6 times. I mean, he's old. He's not.
of course now.
Knowing your name isn't so important. It's like, but I did make an impact on him. He walked by our booth, and that's what he does at his events. He pays respect to everyone sponsoring his event because these companies buying booths. $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 to be a title sponsor. And so my company was a title sponsor, and I just had my pictures there. You got your big pop-up picture. So when people walk by, they're like, oh, Jason's going to be here at this time, whatever. Right. So he walked by and he picked up one of my pictures that I signed for people, and he just sat there and looked at it forever. And I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, fuck, I guess, like he's mirroring
over
my picture.
it.
So I wasn't going to go over there. I was like, man, what am I doing? So I ran over there. I was like, yeah, that's me. And I was like, man, whatever. I'll just act like a little kid because I'm a fanboy a little bit.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah. And he's like, great physique. He's like, I was like, yeah, I got second place at your show last year. I got second place the year before. I'm competing again this year. And I almost won his show. I had an injury and I never won the Arnold Classic. It's if you win his show, it's like right under the Olympia.
Yeah. Big deal.
It's the big deal.
Is he a judge for those things or
no?
I guess not nowadays.
No, I mean, it's somewhat. I mean, he's going to make calls, but it's, just he has judges that work for the organization. He does not work for he's the promoter.
Okay.
He's got a massive staff that promotes the Arnold Classic in Ohio. I think it draws over 100,000 athletes alone. I'm talking about
just people involved?
Yeah, jump rope and hopscotch karate.
People competing.
Bodybuilding.
That many people competing. That's
I want to
nuts.
go
to Columbus, Ohio. Let's go.
Hopscotch?
Dude, there's fencing.
That's tight.
Anything
like buff dudes fencing.
No, it's not
all
actual fencing.
It's a sports festival, not
Oh,
a.
okay.
It's
sports.
okay.
Like buff dudes.
Why is it just like
buff dudes.
definitely
It'd be
not
too
a
easy.
sport. Yeah, definitely not a sport for buff dudes. So meeting somebody like that, I'm assuming that was, I wouldn't want to say idol because we don't idolize anyone before God, but like meeting him, a lot of people, they say it's, sometimes not good to meet somebody that you've looked up to. Meeting him, talking to him, do you not regret that, or are you?
Oh, I don't idolize any man for that same reason you said, but I do respect them, and I do look at them as like, is there something that I can use from this person's life to help make my life better? Can I learn something from them? And yeah, the guy is the epitome of taking his body, right? He took his body and he used that as an outlet to make connections. And I mean, he's done a lot with it. So whether there's certain things I don't agree with what he does, but like doesn't distract me from all the good stuff he's done. Sure. And yeah, that moment was like, all right, I'm making it. Yeah. And I got both my twins there too. Picture there. And
proud moment.
Yeah. And he didn't want to take the picture, to be honest. He's like, it seemed like he was grumpy or something. I don't know, but I said, dude, chill. Like, you don't remember me, but I've seen you many times. We're gonna take this picture, and there's like a whole crowd around, of course, with my twin boys.
That's awesome.
Obviously, you're so proud when you have kids. You want to get them in front of pictures like Khaled does. You want to brand them and market them.
Exactly.
So it was a cool moment.
So when you started working out for the first time, where were you working when you were working out before it transitioned into just working out as like a career thing?
Man, I would wait tables, and then I would work at Costco. I was working like in the freezer, or the outside pushing carts, or working on the front end, just loading people's stuff in the boxes at Costco. I worked at Costco for years, and I would always have like a side job to make extra money, whether it's Abercrombie or
stealing boots.
Yes. By that time, no. After I did the jail time, after my 2-month stay at county, I was like, all right.
Oh, that was the longest?
And plus, I started making money. You know, when you, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm sure other people can relate to this, but when you are a thief, it's addiction. Yeah. And so it took me years, but you know, I definitely stopped stealing. You know, and but you know, and then I got into the working out because I felt like that was my only way to build myself. I wasn't good when I was young. And maybe you guys can relate too, like you're not that good of an entrepreneur, you're not that good of a business person yet. So the weights feel so good because there could be a CEO on the other side of the gym worth $500,000 and you're working out just as hard as him. Yeah. So in a way, that for me, that was like, I can be competitive. Like I don't got the money and I don't have all these things that I want in life yet, but I know how I can tear up the gym.
I can be better at this than you are.
Yeah, I can beat up my body and I can continue to build something. And it all was meant to be 100% because my name's Jason. Jason is a healer in the Bible. And my mom told me since birth that, you know, I was going to heal people and that she didn't name me. She's like, I didn't name you. Your dad allowed me to name you. But I prayed over your name. And, you know, we had all these other names for you, but it came down to Jason because the Lord just kept telling me, you know, heal, like he's going to heal her. And so Jason, and that's what she told me my whole life. All those times I was in trouble, all those times when you talk to your mom and you're just depressed about a girl or whatever's going on and you rely on your mom, my mom would always say like, listen, you know, she would just give me that positive reinforcement that, you know, you're going to be a healer because I had no confidence. Like I sucked at school, made bad grades, very social, was good with people.
Did you graduate?
I graduated high school. Yeah. Went to college a few years, but didn't work out. Went down to Austin. Actually was able to get the grades up transferring to UT, but partied balls the whole time and worked. But I was always a worker. Like I was working too much. While my friends were in school blowing away money, I paid for my own college, but I had to work 2 jobs, Costco, and I worked on 6th Street at The Drink. Shout out to everyone.
Shout out to 6th Street.
The Drink. Remember The Drink?
Street. I don't remember that one.
You know?
The Drink ended up.
Oh, you're locked up.
Yeah, I wasn't there then. I didn't make it out in time. I got there in 2011. So, what year were you in Austin?
2002 and 2004, somewhere.
See, I was in high school then. I was doing what you were doing in high school at that moment.
Yeah, man. So, but it, you know, that didn't work out. Moved back home, started the personal training career, and you know, that healer started, and I still didn't understand it, but the first time when I had some older clients come up and tell me something real awkward, I just accepted it a little different. They told me, and they're probably 65 and 70 years old, and I love these clients, man. The Leatherberries, shout out to the Leatherberries. He was like the dean of UNT, and she wasn't losing weight. And I was so frustrated because like my heart was in my clients. Like I didn't just want your money. I wanted you to get results. I wanted to be a positive impact on your life. And that made me feel better about taking your money. Right. But she told me, she's like, Jason, don't be hard on yourself. Like you need to understand something. And this is going to be awkward. But she's like, me and what was his name? It was Cheryl Leatherberry, I forget his name. But she said, me and my husband are having the best sex we've had in like 40 years. And she's like, it's because of you and we're working out. And I'm like, awkward, but man, that's great. And I'm like thinking, imagine being 60 and getting at the height of your sex life again. And,
wow.
You know, she told me. So that was like, you know, something super awkward, but it made me understand that when you help people with fitness and exercise and nutrition, it's not always about how they look and the body fat they're losing. Sometimes they're just on a program now and they're just so grateful that you've helped guide them with a new lifestyle.
Damn, I never thought about that.
But that's
crazy. I always, whenever I'm training with like my buddy Justin or whoever, when I was doing that, I was always focused on physical appearance, but also I was crushing things at the workplace and out of the workplace and whatnot. I didn't realize how big of an impact that probably just doing that with him was helping me on the other end, doing what I need to do over there. Wow.
Probably mental too. Not all physical. Like your mental state is better too because you're following that discipline.
Right.
You know.
And then I took everything I learned. I tried to do it myself, but it just doesn't hit the same. Yeah, I need to text Justin.
No, I always had clients look at different macros of what we're improving in, not just the whole physical vanity aspect of it.
Sure.
You know, I mean, the performance was huge for me. Like, because you could stay the exact same weight. Like, me and Larry could train for a year and he could stay the exact same weight. I mean, I promise you he's going to put on muscle. He's going to get harder, denser. He's going to look better. But there is certain cases where people just, you know, don't get the chest isn't popping out. Their arms aren't growing. I mean, Larry hit a plateau. But then we go look at, all right, when he started, you know, he could only do 50 push-ups. That's still a lot. Now Larry's knocking out 120 straight. And then we rest, and then he does 120 more. Like, the performance adds up. I mean, you can't measure, like, all right, my bone density is better. My back, you can't measure injuries you avoided because you're in better shape, right? Like, you can't always look at what's in front of you. You've got to look at what could have been. And, you know, that's why exercise is huge, because, like, it lowers the risk of freaking chronic diseases, and it lowers the risk of cardiac health, heart disease, diabetes. It is, like you guys said, it's better for your head, better for your brain.
And also cautiously makes you eat better too, because you don't want to mess up whatever it is that you got going on.
Yeah, Scott always talks about that. He's like, when he's working out, it makes him want to continue to eat better. And then when he's not working out, he's like, I don't care. Let me just go order pizza. Let me
And
order
I hate
this.
it. I hate it so much, man, because eating healthy, when I'll wake up faster, get right out of bed, start the day, my energy's good all the way throughout the day. But then when I'm not working out and I'm eating bad, I'm lazy, I'm heavy-headed, sluggish. I get to the gym, I'm not even really doing what I want to do. So I feel like when you're consuming the right things, it takes you a lot further with the whole aspect of working out and everything like that. And so it's one of the harder things, because working out seriously takes so much discipline, because it's not just going to the gym and lifting weights.
Yeah.
There's so much more that goes into it. And you teach that to I'm assuming you teach that to all your clients as well?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really personal train anymore. But I was doing online coaching where I coach people all around the world, but I put that to the side. I just had too many things going on, and it was, most people probably wouldn't put it to the side, but I wanted to focus on other industries. I want to focus on bigger money too.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask is, like, what is your moneymaker then right now? Like, what is it?
The biggest spoke to the wheel is Tella Health, which a lot, like 90% of that's peptides.
Okay.
You know, we prescribe more peptides than anyone else in the United States. So we started Transcend Company 2021. These guys approached me. They had done like $100,000 in revenue in the first 4 months. And they don't have following. They don't have, you know, they have the foundational relationship you need to start a telehealth company. Like, they had pharmacy relationships, they had experience. One guy knew a lot about peptides, and, you know, I had only taken a few. I'd got a doctor that prescribed me a few back when I was competing, but I wasn't like huge into them. But I definitely had an interest with the ability to help people enhance their performance with doctor supervision. You know, and that's coming from bodybuilding. You got people dying. Like, you got dudes abusing stuff and straight up croaking over at 28 years old, 32, you know.
Man.
I kind of wanted to touch on that, because every once in a while you'll see like so and so passed away.
No,
and
it was this guy Jordan
one
put
dude
me on.
he was
The huge the white
guy.
boy that he died in his girlfriend's arms. It was like 3 or 4 months
Oh
ago.
yeah, let's get to he's my boy. But about Transcend real quick, just to finish.
Now let's talk about it.
We took did $100,000, very small investment. I'm a minority owner, but still I was big. It was the brand director, the one that made the company visible on social media. I brought in all the influencers, and I mean, we'll do 40 million this year, and that's almost all organic off of Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. There's very little. We just started ad spend now, and because it was a delicate process having to advertise medication and stuff. Peptides are still kind of in the gray area. So you have to be careful. Not all these platforms will accept advertising. But yeah, I mean, I ask affiliate managers, I ask managers, I've got a new manager now. I'm like, have you ever heard of anyone selling $500,000 a month in a product that's an influencer? And he's like, and he's got some famous athletes and people. He's like, no one's even ever come half of that. That's equivalent like you guys, like an affiliate coming in and selling 500K in a month of private selection merch or shoes, whatever.
Like, who the hell is this guy?
Good luck. Yeah. But I did that, and I'm still doing that. And, this was something that was a gamble for me, but I prayed over it. I know it sounds nuts, but Jason and being a healer in the Bible, I feel like that's what God called me to do. I get criticized for it. I get feedback. I understand because they're just not educated on it. They don't understand. But like peptides are not steroids.
Yeah. Can you explain for our viewers like what peptides are
and pros and cons
and what the process is?
Okay. So y'all know I'm type 1 diabetic too.
Yep.
So that happened to me when I was 29. And I also have to take insulin the rest of my life. I have to take it to live. Insulin is a peptide.
Okay.
And that's what people when they start criticizing like, oh, Larry, you taking peptides now?
Yeah.
Because you said you're at 185 now. It's a heavy server been. You get to 190, people start asking like, Larry, what are you doing? I took this peptide. And you're like, oh, you cheating now? Blah, blah. Well, peptides are chains of amino acids. It's the same thing as that drink over there. That chains of amino acids can be manufactured into a product to have a specific response in the body. Okay. So it's not all about vanity or goals like gaining muscle, getting jacked, losing body fat. Peptides can be made for, I almost brought you guys some, so like Selenk. That's a peptide. It's used for anxiety. It helps you just calm down. It's like a stronger, I feel like it's a stronger version of CBD. CBD, some people work, some people it doesn't for the anxiety, but Selenk, for people to get real uppity, it just calms you down, not sleepy, you're just like super focused. And then so that's a nasal spray. But what I'm trying to say is there's peptides for all things in the body, and they're superior to synthetic pharmaceutical medications that have killed and have got like our grandparents and our parents sick. That's the shit that got me pissed off, was seeing my grandmother's Ziploc bag of too many medications. She was over medicated. She's just doing what she feels right. But the doctor was unethical, but no one's going attacking that doctor and Tyler, right? Yeah. But they see me because I'm visible, right? Yeah. And because they don't have education on peptides yet, and they're like, oh, you don't know the long-term implications and blah, 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 all this stuff. And I'm like, listen, I get it, and that's where you have to have a good content production team, because the goal is if you're going to get into something new, be prepared to educate people on why you're in that niche, why you're in that industry. And I'm in it because I want to help people. I want to make money. I want to make generational money. You don't want to make that athlete, 20, 30 mil a year. That's definitely possible in this industry.
But not doing it by selling some snake oil synthetic.
I ain't selling jabs. I'm not selling shots. These are shots, but I'm not, but the reason being that shots absorb better in the body, and that's, so peptides come in pill form. They can come in nasal sprays, eye drops. Women have been putting peptides on their skin for over 20 years, I think 30 years. So, that's what you talk about peptides to women. They've heard of them. Like, oh, there's a peptide moisturizer for my skin. Because it works. Yeah. They're more biologically adaptive to the body. So the body just absorbs them with less risk of serious side effects, in some cases, none.
So how does that work though? Do you go in? I remember you told me to come in, take a test, and then you had me. I remember, I don't want to say it wrong, but you had something about thyroids, making sure my levels, or was it my thyroids were correct? Like, how's it going? You take a test and it breaks down everything on your body and it tells you where's needed to strengthen in certain areas.
Yeah. Let me see your internals. We can all see from the outside out. We can see people. And that's when it's scary. If you can see sickness from the outside in, man, it's been there for years. Mm-hmm. So that we were just creating some content yesterday about not procrastinate on the blood work. We wanted to hit an emotional touch point with men specifically, but with women as well. Like, 19, you're just going, you don't think you need to get your blood work done, or when you do, you go get it done by an out of shape doctor who's only covering certain panels. So, and then you go through your whole life and you've never really looked at, gotten your blood work looked at by like a healthy, fit team that's looking at it alternatively, not just like a big pharma person. That's what people understand.
Like, does it check the box?
There's a difference between big pharma people and alternative people, right? You throw holistic, all the natural, all the homeopathic people, those are all the alternative, right? Because they're looking at some way to biohack or to help people without synthetic drugs, right? Like Oxycontin, right, for painkiller versus, cannabis.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You got two doctors. And sometimes you do. You need pharmaceutical drugs. I'm not the person that's like, oh, don't take any. And you just don't want to get to the point where you need
Codependent on it or whatever.
synthetic drugs.
Right.
We can medicate, and it's taken over. I got in this. Nobody had even heard about it. There was no content whatsoever. A few people here and there. The next thing you know, I mean, you've got everyone talking about peptides on TikTok, and a lot of it is sus, because they're recommending Chinese websites where the stuff is.
A Flagrant was talking about them with, I think, Joe Rogan one time. He didn't seem like he wasn't very informed a whole lot about it.
I promise you it was at least last year or maybe this year. But, man, I couldn't find it because I'm looking for peptide information myself. Like, how are other people creating content? Could not find it anywhere. There's one guy, and he owns a company that's our competition. And that was the one guy that was talking about it. And he's talking about real science-driven. Yeah. And I had a goal. I was like, you know what? This is so scientific. I want to break this down to the average Joes out there.
Make it digestible.
Like bro to bro talking about what works, versus breaking it down to research study.
It feels like the same language.
For
sure.
And I mean, so the peptides right now, the weight loss drug that the whole world is taking.
Was Ozempic?
Yeah.
Ozempic.
That's a peptide?
It is a peptide.
Oh. Did y'all sell that?
It's synthetic peptide, so it's got some other things added to it, but it's a peptide. Yeah, we have the compounded version of that, and where people, if they can't get it for their insurance, they'll pay thousands of dollars a pin. But I think our price is around like $300 a month, so you can lose 50 pounds, in 3 months. I've seen it done all the time. Sure. 50 pounds in 3 months.
But there are side effects.
There can be.
There can be side effects. I've heard.
So that.
Have you looked into it?
Yeah, I've looked into it, but I saw.
Could you help Ian?
I saw some scary shit though.
Well, so that's made to scare people, but you've got to list implications like side effects with everything.
Anything. Sure.
And that is FDA approved, so you definitely have to. When the FDA is involved, man, you got to tell everything about a drug. So, my wife's on it. My mother-in-law's on it. I've got one of my best friends up in Prosper. I actually got many best friends that are on it. 30 pounds in 2 months, dude.
My girlfriend's parents are both on it, and they're like...
Now, when you say on it, like you take
you
it,
have to
but
go
you have
weekly,
to do
right?
It's a shot a week.
It's a shot a week.
But you have to do other healthy things, right? For it to work. It's not just going to fall off.
It makes you not hungry from what I've heard, right?
It like shrinks your appetite?
Ozempic and Mounjaro are the two top products. Yeah. Ozempic works, but it's the most popular.
Yeah.
Mounjaro is actually better. The drug name is called tirzepatide. Mounjaro is actually better because it's a PIP and a GLP together. Ozempic is just a GLP. So meaning that they both will tell your mind you're not hungry, right? And so you tend to not overeat. My wife right now, she's only been on it like I think 2 or 3 weeks. Dude, we were killing ice cream at night. She just doesn't have the hunger for it now. Yeah. I get away with it because like I'm trained so freaking hard. I'm an ectomorph, but like she just doesn't want to eat it. Like we had a birthday party Saturday. Man, normally she'd be going hard on the cake, and we had an ice cream sundae tower. And I'm in there, and I was like, "You want some?" She's like, "No, I don't have appetite." But she's losing weight. I think she's lost like 6 pounds in a few weeks, getting that baby weight off.
Yeah.
So when you go in there, when people are going in there to get diagnosed or whatever, what's the most common thing in males that they don't know they need until they take the test and realize like, oh shit, like whether it's certain levels or
like low T?
Is there anything that just stands out the most for like a male, especially in like his 30s or anything like that? Or
you should always get your testosterone checked. If you're having some weird stuff, if you're 18 or 19, your doctor, you're gonna have to push them to do it. But you can always come to us. I mean, it's not free. It's $250 for the blood work, but it's a full extensive panel. All your hormone levels, your testosterone, your estrogen. Your thyroid is very important to test that. Your growth hormone levels, your insulin levels. We're going to check for diabetes panel as well. So basically just look at everything from a more extensive place rather than just because the doctors will assume, oh, he's 22, he doesn't have low T. And I honestly,
I've always heard it's just when you get past 30.
Raise them naturally. Like just go and work out, whatever. Then that what they're not considering is that some of these men, these young men and boys have been on synthetic drugs their whole life, drinking out of plastic their whole life, having heavy metal toxins and who knows what. Like we're in a synthetic world. Everything. I mean, we wear clothes that are literally completely made of plastic.
Right.
You know, and I mean, I hate to be like, I used to think all this stuff was conspiracy, but the truth is, like, where the hell is cancer coming from? Why are girls having their first periods at 11 and 12 years old now? And, you know, our parents, it was like 15, 16. So point being, we live in a synthetic world, and you can't just ignore synthetic problems. Like a young dude or a chick having hormonal problems at 22 should not just be sent off because we can't help you. We're the company that helps you, and we don't give a lot of younger men testosterone because we want to give them a chance to get off of it. Once you're on test, I've always told people you're going to be on it for the rest of your life. Just plan that way.
You told me that before.
Yeah, if you get on it, you're going to be doing 1 shot a week.
But it's bad for kids that age to be on it, right? Long-term effect?
Bad is like...
Does it curb the natural ability of your body to create
Sure, that
testosterone?
too.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
100%.
That when you say bad, that's got to be what.
Yeah.
And so peptides.
It's a synthetic drug.
Yeah.
Right? But there's a peptide option, and we mix it with a SERM, selective estrogen receptor model. So enclomiphene is the SERM, HCG is the peptide. Those two combined are a fertility protocol. So you'll take a 22-year-old with low T, where your doctor tells you, sorry, go home at 500. Dude, when you're 22, your testosterone well over 1,000
through the roof.
And so, like, dude, you can't even get it up. You're like, your sex drive is gone in your low 20s. Like, that's not the way men are supposed to operate. And it's not just about all that stuff. So, dude, your work ethic, your drive to live, your will to like be a masculine dude who wants to kick ass and take names. Like, when your testosterone should not just be about how much muscle I have. This is about like you. That's what makes us different from women. So point being that we can help them raise it from like, I've seen 300, 400, 500 on Bloodwork young men. I'm like, you gotta be kidding. This is nuts. But we can get them up to 1,000 plus. We can raise it like 500, 600, 700, depends on the individual. Sure. With that peptide SERM option and clomiphene.
But there's no side effect to where they're not going to have to take it the rest of their life like you would say about testosterone. Like they could get it to where it needs to be, and then is it up to you moving forward to like
maintain
keep it that way? Or
no, it's a possibility. There definitely, if you stop, your levels could go back down. But there is a lot of research to show with that particular protocol, right, that you can take it and it will actually excel and your testosterone levels will stay high for the next like 6 months. And it could stay high. It's not going to fix you, right? Your body's broke, but you definitely will not be lower test like taking testosterone. Once you take the synthetic testosterone or the oil or even the patches and the lotions and all that stuff, it's got side effects that you need to be aware of, right? But with enclomiphene and HCG, that's how we help a lot of young men because it has a lot less side effects, and the biggest thing is you can stay fertile. And that's testosterone will kill your sperm.
That's the difference between the peptide version of testosterone and then just like the regular synthetic. Is that am I following that correctly?
There's a lot of differences. Yeah, the difference is like testosterone, you can lose your ability to make babies.
Right.
You can have There can be heart issues, cholesterol issues, blood pressure issues. It will get you more jacked, but the enclomiphene and HCG will actually improve your sperm count, so you're more fertile, elevate your testosterone, not as high as the other version.
Does it improve your heart and stuff like that as well? Or
no, there's no side effects with cardiac health or heart disease with enclomiphene and HCG. I recommend it to a lot of guys who are like, listen, I'm not trying to be on testosterone most of my life, but I know I'm low and this is an option for me. And a lot of people, nobody heard about this protocol. Nobody. We were the first company to start putting it out there. Our doctors, obviously knew about it. And when they started prescribing it, because I was really kind of bent on like, listen, I didn't get a part of something to give young men testosterone. I didn't get a part. I was against that. Like, I want to help people live longer lives, optimize blood work, but I'm not down to give a 21-year-old test.
Now, did you ever take tests at that age?
Nope. No, I wouldn't have touched the stuff. I was scared shitless of steroids.
And I think the technology and the information wasn't there like it is now. You know what I mean? I think
even if you wanted to,
even like thinking back to like Barry Bonds' time, like that was like the first time that steroids became like
because
it was so like beneath the surface. You know what I mean?
It was hated on even more. I mean, it was just it was like a narcotic.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a
people
felon
looked at it,
level.
Yes,
it was cocaine pretty much.
Yes.
So we say it on podcast. I want to get you.
No, of course.
So are peptides allowed to be in like the NFL and sports and stuff like that?
No.
Really?
That just recently they, what is it, OSADA or WADA, all these drug testing agencies, they came out and said like, yeah, peptides are banned.
So they're considering it a steroid, basically?
Yeah, because some of them do increase like MK677.
Yeah.
We'd have Scotty like 20 pounds heavier in a few months on MK677. And it jacks up growth hormone levels so high.
Is it good for you?
There's a scale of good for you, right? It's not as bad for you as eating McDonald's every day. But it jacks up the growth hormone is so high, you're insanely hungry. So I can't take it. I'm type 1. It messes up my insulin sensitivity.
I feel like like sports won't allow it to be accepted because Big Pharma controls a lot of everything, and they can just write this false narrative that allows everyone on the outside to think of it as this thing that's frowned upon. When in all reality, if they were just to sit down with you and a couple specialists and actually statistically see, they would understand. But I feel like it's government controlled.
Amino acids are found naturally in the body. So I think obviously if you're just giving your body a boost of that, you know what I mean, to work with it, it's hard to consider that like
it's boosting your body's ability, how it performs. Like growth hormone, right? You take growth hormone, like omnitropin, somatropin, whatever. You are directly injecting growth hormone in the body, and it's synthetic, so it elevates your growth hormone levels so high, but it's not helping you produce more growth hormone, right? It's covering up your body's natural ability to produce
because they're not compatible to each other. Is that why? Or they don't mesh? Or
they're just different compounds. They're just different. I mean, they're just different routes at which they work, right? So growth hormone causes insulin resistance. Does it work? Yeah. I mean, there's the reason why people cheat in sports and try to take growth. You will recover crazy fast. Insane amounts. Your hands and bones will grow. Your forehead will grow. You get the GH belly. Your intestines will grow. Yeah. I mean, I got people labeled me that I was taking that.
Your hands will grow?
Your hands and fingers bones will grow on high amounts. Yes.
That's insane.
Your bones.
Absolutely.
I'm like mind blown right now. Like, what?
It was made for like HIV patients and little kids with growth hormone deficiencies, like
I just
muscular
never knew your
dystrophy.
bones could grow past 18 or whatever your last growth spurt is.
Can if you give him some substances.
I got little hands, bro.
He's like, I could use some.
I got
fingers.
a pharmacy now, so like even though I don't like the stuff,
do need to
we
come
can just
by.
give it. If you want to say F it and just do.
Do you want to know why I haven't came by? Because I'm one of those people that's like afraid to face what could possibly be wrong with me. Because my dad has diabetes. Again, you're saying it's not genetic. So it's like, thank God. I would hope it's not either. But it's like I'm scared. I'm scared to go get it from you and be like, all right, man, everything looks.
You've
great.
never done a blood test?
But I don't think so. No. I mean, I've gone to the hospital and I take blood. They draw blood. They're like, everything looks good. But you're telling me as if
I'm gonna send Scotty this video when we're done with it. We're really hitting like an emotional thing about not doing your blood work. It's like. You'll see.
I just did a CT scan and they did my blood and they did the little, was it CRI or MRC or the little chest vest you put on?
Calcium.
And they ran everything. They said, you look great. It's because I had vertigo and I didn't know what was wrong with me. And this was like three weeks ago. So they did all this work and they said everything looks fine. But at the same time, like the blood work that they did probably wasn't
an extensive panel.
And that's what he's talking about.
Is what he's saying.
It's the way that they look at it. Yeah. So if they're looking at it and they're looking at your blood work and they're trying to figure out what's going on with vertigo, then they're looking for something that would set that off.
Right. They're not doing an extensive panel.
You might have had low levels of something here and there, but if that doesn't attribute to vertigo, then they just brushed it off.
Have you done blood tests?
Doesn't matter. I did whenever I had that
weird thing in your throat.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I did mine last month. I do.
I feel like you have to.
I do yearly. I have high blood pressure.
Right, so you have to.
That. But it's crazy.
Why don't we all just take a trip down to his spot?
My levels on my blood work are perfect, and the doctor always like, you look like you should have some issues. But the only thing I have is that.
How old are you?
34.
Okay.
I'm old.
No, not old.
I'm getting there.
You look young though.
Yeah.
We all look young.
But that's the thing is like my shit is always fucking perfect, and I'm just like,
it's perfect to who?
Right.
As far as what is within the normal
Let me
levels.
look at that thing.
I'll show you.
No, I'm down.
I'll pull it up right now.
Okay.
I could.
We need to go. We should all go.
We
one
should.
day.
I agree.
I want to take Jordan with
we're
me
partnered with LabCorp and Quest, and so they're everywhere. We don't own the labs, not yet.
That was my next question.
working,
So you
we'll
just
see.
essentially you partner. Those are places you go for like drug tests and things like that, and you can just take paperwork in there, and then they'll run
They
the
send
test.
our specialists the results, and then we go over it either on the phone or on a Zoom, or simply just send you an email back, and then we just say, hey, this is what we think's wrong, and we've already got your goals. We've already understood what your purpose of why you're working with us, so they can say this is what we recommend based on your blood work.
You know what's crazy about Bloodwork now, though? They can come to your house and do the blood work. You don't even have to go to the like. They came to my house, like literally like an Uber service. Pull up
Like the hydration people, or they just
no,
pull
it's
up?
just it's just
Yeah,
a
that's
nurse
what
comes
Susie's
in,
mom does.
sets up her whole situation, has her vials, and does your blood work.
Oh, I did that yesterday.
Yeah.
I drove up to Oklahoma City yesterday.
crazy.
Drove a doctor up there.
That's
did
nuts.
a like $50,000 stem cell exosome treatment between him and his wife. And
What is that?
What does she need it for?
we did an injection. We didn't draw blood this time, but we were doing injections for shoulder pain, elbow pain. This guy is just lifted crazy.
Me and
as
Larry
life,
got
and then-
into like stocks for stem cells back in the day, and we made some good money off of it. There's a
That's
surge at one point back in like 2019.
I wish we were
18.
public because I tell you to invest, but we're, I don't think we're FDA master filed, so that means it's not approved yet. But FDA master filed means like you're
in the
allowed to
system,
operate.
yeah.
The FDA is watching you, but you
Okay.
follow the guidelines, and they're master filed for investigational use only.
Do you think your business will get into stem cell type stuff?
So that I do both. I have two different businesses, and I'll merge them
Gotcha.
together. Yeah, so like that's the fun business part of it is, and that's how we'll make a lot of money, is going from, we'll do 40 million this year at Transcend, and we hit a $300 million valuation. But if you tag a regenerative medicine option to that, like, so that's peptides and HRT, TRT, we've got traditional medicine, right? But if you add that another layer of revenue coming in, now we're a biologic, regenerative medicine company utilizing stem cell exosomes and helping patients with their treatments, that just adds another higher evaluation. So I told them that's how we'll hit a $500 million valuation quick. So should Ernie, our main founder, want to sell, it's just it's more revenue to the company. It's very high ticket though. It's expensive. It's not cheap. But
Exactly.
I'm 10 times more affordable than going to a Colombia or Panama or Tijuana, and you don't gotta get a plane. We literally do this stuff right at your house.
I've just watched from the investment we made, and because I was like super all about this 4 or 5 years ago, all about stem cell research and everything that was about to happen. And what I saw happen was the FDA. So essentially what you're doing is they will pull out your blood, put it in the centrifuge. I think that's what it's called, where it like spins the blood around, separates the plasma from the blood and your stem cells.
Yeah.
Then they take that. Then there's a process of something that they add to it and then inject it back in you. And the problem is when they mix whatever with it and inject it back into you, they're saying that is now considered a drug, even though you're only injecting your own cells back into you. And so I know firsthand experience that is where the FDA there's a few major court cases that have tried to set precedent on this.
I can't believe you know all this.
Yeah, there's a few major court cases. The last one was out of California, and that kind of where a federal judge said, no, that's not drugs. But Supreme Court hasn't made that ruling yet, and so it's like in this weird limbo, and that's the only reason you're not seeing a stem cell clinic on every corner right now.
And that's why we got
Proud of you. I'm proud of you. Like, you should work with me on this, man.
And that's why we got into it though, because he's like, it's about to go public once they pass his bill. So we put all this money into it, and the news hit, so it went
you had
up.
money on the line. That's why you're.
That's why.
And then the month, so we put all this money and everything went up. And then when they rejected it, we pulled it out because we knew that everybody knew that that wasn't going to happen.
And it's still just been sitting stagnant because there hasn't been any
human tissue.
definitive
It's that
decisions made.
Stem
by the
cells
court
are
yet.
human tissue. They do need to alter. It's so weird how they regulate things, but that's where we got our FDA regulation, is because with stem cells, the stem cells are in the human umbilical cord, and then there's a Wharton jelly inside the woman's umbilical cord. Full-term pregnancies. We have strict guidelines on the umbilical cords we're using. They can't be vaccinated. Obviously screened for all sorts of different issues. And what's crazy is you could really take one umbilical cord and make like thousands of vials of exosomes. Really? But from each stem cell, I mean, we're talking about microscopic, like super, super freaking tiny stem cell. There's even tinier are the exosomes. Mm-hmm. So those vesicles are pulled, but they actually do alter them in our lab. And there's benefits of both. Like I tell everyone in the perfect world, like, should I do stem cells or exosomes? I'm like, well, if you got the money, do both, but you're gonna have to go out of the country to get stem cells. And it depends on what's going on with your body. But most of the time, we can just give you exosomes to reduce inflammation. So anything inflammatory, exosomes are superior. Anything, from what I've read, anything muscular-wise like or reparative-wise,
meniscus,
stem cells.
Correct.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask is like, what are they using this for? It's just to regenerate.
This chick had an annular tear and 5 vertebrae all bulging. Wow. Her back. She's a young chick, man. She's probably like 35. 2 kids. I felt bad for her, man. She's been in pain. Hasn't worked out for 7 months. Has worked out her whole life. Awesome businesswoman, very successful, but she's just losing her life because her back pain and she's on all these meds. So yeah, we hit her right there in her house at a back injection. She didn't have to leave, and what would have cost them, probably $100,000 at some of these stem cell clinics out of the country. We simply get to eliminate costs because we don't have clinic costs. Sure, we're not looking at all this overhead stuff. We're mailing it directly from LSU. Where the lab is to people's house, or I get them mailed to me, like in this case, and I drove them up to them. And I'm going to text them here in a little bit. I promise you that's the first thing that goes away is pain. Yeah. Like if you've got arthritic or bursitis or just aches and pains, and I definitely get this now, it's insane how the next day your pain.
See, I wonder. Go away. So I've had surgery on my left knee multiple times from. One was from squat maxing at school. The rest of it was from football injuries, discus injuries, and just recently, it's like really been kind of messing with me more. You know what I mean? And I wonder if something like that would. I have no meniscus now. It's just bone on bone. They had to completely cut out my meniscus, right? After having surgery so many times, I'm wondering if something like that.
Yeah,
I would be able to help.
I would say yes.
I can feel it get inflamed after, like, let's say we go to New York, we walk New York for a week, right? Like at the end of that, I feel it versus normal life. Every normal day is like, I don't feel anything. But
what I do is I start budget wise. I don't even care if a person's got, we can obviously start with a whole shebang, like exosomes, BPC 157 peptides. We can do all that. But I usually have like my friends, and if I'm communicating with people, let's start with BPC 157. Spend about $300-400, and you're gonna have to hit that site every day. You don't need to hit. It's not a crazy injection into the bone, all that.
Sure.
The muscle tissue closest to the pain
is enough. Yeah.
And then, like, I've healed my hamstring pull with this. I've healed little aches and pains that have popped up, little inflammatory things where shoulders and supraspinatus or whatever, biceps tendon has been hurting, and it just heals it faster. Right. The exosomes are super fast. Like, you're talking instant relief. But, budget wise, let's start with the peptide first. It's cheaper. And then for some reason, if that's not working, let's add in the exosomes. But it would cost, like retail for just the knee, like maybe $2,000-3,000. Usually I just sell people more because we can save it. And you can just put it in your freezer for 6 months, and we can hit it the next month if the knee starts flaring up. But what it does is, like, the BPC 157 will heal it. The peptides will heal it, right? Reduce inflammation. The exosomes will heal it and possibly heal it stronger.
Help some of that.
It wasn't before.
Repair.
So could that work on
it's like reversing time.
Could that work on a herniated disc?
Yeah, 100%.
Because my roommate, Hayden, who's also our employee, Jordan's brother, that's what he has right now. And he's had it for like 6 months. He's 21 years old. And he just found out. And he's just been moping around the house for
He's been down for a while.
It's bad. Months. And he can't afford to do the crazy treatments that they're asking at the moment. I wonder if that could help. How much would something like that cost, you think?
Dude, this is why we're stepping on a lot of surgeons' toes.
That's what I was about to say.
Because everyone, I mean, yeah, we all want insurance to pay for our stuff, but sometimes the insurance, like we don't want the stuff the insurance gives. You want the good stuff. You have to pay cash. And
insurance doesn't cover anything in your field, really? No, right?
Really, certain things.
They're not in the business of healing people.
Yeah, they want you to be a customer
They
for
want
life.
you to stay sick.
For sure.
That's the whole other disgusting conversation about this system and why I wholeheartedly am into a lot of different like holistic healings and things like that. Really quickly, when I was younger, when I still lived in California, I had a roommate. His girlfriend was diagnosed with breast cancer. She had like a golf ball sized tumor. And there is a documentary out there on YouTube by a guy named Ricky Simpson. And it's about Phoenix tears, which basically you take marijuana, you mix it with like a 99% ethanol type alcohol. It extracts all of that oil from it, burn it out in a rice burner. And then it leaves you with like a paste, almost like a oil, you know, and she would basically like popsicle stick like a glob of this oil and eat it twice a day.
Sounds like wax.
And it is. And so it's called Phoenix tears because it's as pure as you can get it. Phoenix, like death and rebirth, right? So essentially that's what it does to your cells is it'll sense out any free radicals, any abnormal cells, and then repair it and rebuild like baby brand new cells. So long story short, she was doing this for 10 days. They found this tumor. They scheduled her for an emergency surgery. And then within 10 days of making the Phoenix tears and eating it for 10 days, by the time they went in to do the surgery, it was like a pea-size tumor. And they were so blown away, like, what the hell did you do within the last 10 days to make that happen? And that was the first time where I was like, holy shit, like, this is real. So then her Aunt Carla came down and she had a patch on her face that she had been telling people was a birthmark for 20 years or whatever. She had just always told people it was a birthmark, but it was like some abnormal, like cancer type cells. So we just put it underneath Band-Aids. And within a week or two, she had brand new baby soft skin. She was in her 60s at the time. Crazy. Brand new baby soft skin, no brown, brand new, like, I mean, just life. It changed my life. And I'm like, okay, if I ever get sick, that's what I'm doing because I watched it.
You watched it fix.
Yes. It wasn't just like, I heard about this. This was like my roommate's girlfriend. And then her aunt came and stayed at our house and did the same thing once April recovered from that process. So I'm very, very into understanding and knowing legal? That. It depends on what state you live in.
Cannabis is legal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it depends on what state you live in.
Oh, I was about to ask, this is cannabis?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was like, this sounds like fucking weed.
It is, yeah. You take a pound, you mix it with 99% ethanol. You need you get 60% from the grocery store. You need 99% alcohol. You mix it, burn it out in a rice burner, and the oil that it leaves you left is called Phoenix Tears. YouTube, Ricky Simpson. I forget the name of the documentary, but very, very useful information. And
so what is that, like a tincture almost? It's got to be like a tincture.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like an oil.
Check that out.
Yeah.
But
have you ever been like attacked by any like lawyers or lawsuits or anything that you've been doing with what you're doing?
No, because I align myself with a legal team. I mean, I have one of my partners is he's a paralegal, but he's like a serial medical entrepreneur. So he's been through it all. I mean, he's built and sold over 10 pharmacies, over 100 medical companies in general. So he's kind of like my mentor when it comes to the whole stem cell exosome world. I mean, he's the one that owns the lab. He's the one that built the lab. He's the one that acquired and worked with the FDA to get it master filed. And it's just big boy stuff, dude. You know, like when you're 21, you're in your 20s. I mean, there is some rock stars out there that are understanding, like they got that 40 plus mind. But I mean, I wasn't concerned about all this. Now I'm like, who do I look up to? Now I'm looking like, dudes who have scaled and built hundreds of millions of dollars.
Some unheard of CEO, real estate,
9
mobile.
acres down in Preston Hollow, $16 million home in Preston Hollow. Like I'm just like, what did you do to get that? And then you realize at one point in your life, if you work hard, you're like, I'm not that different from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I don't have that yet, but I have the qualities that you had. Mm-hmm. And he sees that in me as well. And that's why he's, been so generous to help me build some of these businesses. So we got a lot of stuff coming in the medical world, and that's all alternative, like to help people.
Where was the shifting point from, lifting, and then all of a sudden now you're all, not saying you're not about lifting, but I'm saying, when did you really just get into peptides? Did someone introduce it to you? Did you have a run-in by doing something like testosterone levels that were kind of like a scare that made you like rethink, like, okay, maybe I should be doing it another route?
There's a lot of inspirations or influences that got me interested, but like you guys touched on earlier, I mean, I had bodybuilder friends die, and the first thing was, I'm just getting sick of it. I was like, they didn't have to. Nobody was overlooking their protocols. No one was watching over them. It was all just for what? Yeah. To win a freaking bodybuilding show and win like maybe $10,000. If you win Olympia, I mean, there's a big payday, but even that, I mean, dying still is not worth $400,000. Mm-hmm. And so I saw people, and I was like, listen, what if we had a company that was able to help these people, and at least give them a warning, like, hey, you need to ease off stuff, So that was one inspiration, was just to help people not abuse stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm very vocal. Like I talk exactly about what I take.
Sure.
Yeah.
And this is a trick. Cool. People do this now. It wasn't cool, 10, 12 years ago. But the first person that asked me if I was natural, I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I was lied to. I bought all these stupid supplements. I bought like $500 in supplements a month in my 20s, and it was all worthless. It was all false claims saying, oh, this is 100 times more anabolic. Oh, this will shred you up, this fat loss pill. And I wasted my money in my 20s, And so, I don't want to be that guy who gets in incredible shape and then divert you guys over to this protein powder over here. Like, it's more than a protein powder, bro.
Yeah.
But I just like, you know what? This is my life. Everyone's watching. What am I telling them? And I want to tell them, like, just honesty. I want to be transparent, but at the same time, make good choices. So like when I take anabolics now, I take a steroid. I'm on a steroid right now. I'm on Anavar, but I post it. I tell people, but it's pharmaceutical grade. It's made by a lab. There's certificates of authenticity. It's made in the FDA government regulated lab, and it's controlled. I can't take it year round. You go to the bro over here, you can buy steroids and you can take them as much as you want, and you don't even know if it's real. Yeah. It could be cooked up in someone's freaking basement, just like meth. Yeah. And so, that type of stuff is what is just, a red flag to me. But if people can look amazing and get the results they want, if you choose in life, like, hey, I want to take PEDs, just get them, prescribed. Don't settle for crap that could possibly kill you, because there is long-term implications. But when it's doctor supervised, and like ours, I'm taking Anavar at the max 10 weeks out of the year. And, it works. It works. It's like night and day better than the underground stuff.
Is that
too.
like separated, or is it like 2 weeks here, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks? Like, how is that?
Or is it 10 weeks in a row?
Yeah,
at
10 weeks in a row.
And
one
time
my
a
summer.
year.
I get hard, shredded during summer, and we get, grainy. But people look at me now because I literally have about just as much muscle when I was taking all the underground stuff. When I was literally third place at Olympia in physique. I posted that too, and like most people are supportive, but there's a few people like, oh, you're lying. Some dude made a YouTube, we should probably pull it up. He made some like, you guys are idiots if you believe this guy is only on.
I think you posted him one time, I believe.
I didn't call this dude out yet because I actually liked it. It means because I'm trying to grow YouTube. I was like, oh, my YouTube's growing now. I got people, making little hater shorts about me, and but he's uneducated. He doesn't understand. The truth is, like, I told him this was my steroid cycle when I was trying to win Olympia, and it was like 4 or 5 different compounds, all underground stuff. And I was like, and here's a picture of me. Well, here's a picture of me literally 6 years later. I've been on TRT. It's a clinical dose at 200 milligrams of testosterone, and I'm on a certain peptide called testosterone, and then I'm on Anavar. And look at me. I look just as good. I'm actually probably a little bigger. And I also noted that I was on keto back then, so I was probably thinner. You're not on keto, you don't get as big. You can get cut and you're ripped, but now I know how to manipulate, and I can add carbs as a type 1. But this guy still was like, oh, I just don't believe it. And I was like, I guess it's a good thing when you're talking about where you're at in life, and people are like, he's taking more, or he's he's using a cheat pill, or his parents gave him that money or whatever. Like people just don't want to believe in the hard work. Yeah. And I do understand there is a lot of liars out there too. But it ain't me. I'm too honest, bro.
We deal with that. We deal with that in the shoe world all the time. Like people are like, I'm telling y'all what it is. And they're like, no, it can't be that. It's got to be a fake pair of shoes. It's got to be this and that. It's like, no, this is what it is. And people just can't.
They don't want to swallow that pill.
They don't want to accept that it's reality. You know, like that's really all it is.
Every major blog wouldn't be posting our pairs if they thought that at any slightness that they weren't real.
If you're doing that right now, if your first thought when somebody accomplished something or someone's doing well in life, if your first thought is that they cheated, I promise you suck in life right now.
Facts. Facts.
I've been there, but I check myself. I'm like, no, wait. If Larry, Scotty, and Ian are doing this, like, the first thought now that I'm, a habitual entrepreneur trying to scale stuff is what can I learn from them? Mm-hmm. Not how can I derail them? Yeah. How can I expose them?
Yes.
Like that's what's messed up with social media. Everyone's trying to expose people. Yeah. That's why you broke, dude. That's why you got a rocky relationship. That's why all your relationships suck. That's why you ain't doing what they're doing, because your first thought in life is negative.
Mm-hmm. You have 38 followers. Leave me alone.
But they can change it. I want to help them. Like, just change that shit, dude.
We've converted some people. There's some people that came after us, and then we catch them in the DMs and talk to them, and then they come back around like, hey, I'm sorry for what I said.
I'm actually a big fan.
You're right. I started watching you guys, and you guys really are,
Happens all the time.
It happens more.
But I like that. I like to convert people like that. They say something slick, I'll go in their DMs and I'll write them a really heartfelt message of like.
The worst is whenever you try to respond to the comment and they're like, this app doesn't allow replies. I'm like, what?
Yeah. That's how I know you're just out here just looking
to do it for a living.
What sucks is the exposing and the negativity gets more clicks than the positivity. Yeah.
It don't make more money though.
It doesn't make more money, but
not at all.
They get more clicks, so it's more prevalent. You see it more.
I'm a numbers guy, man. You compare all the shock jockeys, all the controversial. I mean, look at TMZ. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. TMZ ain't making the money that the mainstream news is making.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, they're surviving. Yeah. They're popular. They're cool.
Yeah.
Their buyers ain't buying stuff from them though. Right. You got, long-term wealth, generational wealth. I'm talking legacy wealth. Yeah. It's all about flying straight, man. Just being positive. Good. Like, we're not perfect, but the whole negative stuff is what gets to me, especially when you have kids.
As long as you can understand your faults and build off of them too. That's what a lot of people are afraid to admit when they're wrong, and then they
can't take the criticism,
and then it's harder for them to change their bad habits into something positive because they're quick to just point the finger back at somebody else for what you did this. So it's like, well, we're not talking about what I did.
I tweeted it this weekend. I said I never understood people that talk shit online but follow me.
Yeah, that's the worst too.
I said, you're a fan. So, like, I don't understand, because I get hate, people talking shit about shoe shit.
Yeah, Ian probably gets it
every single day. Tens of people just talking shit. And it's just
but you dick swing a lot, though.
I do.
I know. I know this is like your big part of your career.
For sure.
But it's like, it's shoes, bro.
It's shoes.
Yeah. I didn't slap your mama.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just like, and these guys get so bent out of shape over these shoes. I'm just like,
tight for no reason.
You're talking like, and you would never say that shit in person. I know you wouldn't.
No.
I know you wouldn't.
Just goes to show you, it happens with every career.
Every career. It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah.
I'm giving people weight loss drugs that are saving their life. Yeah. Like, really, like, and then they're like, oh, but
it's
like
sterile.
You said earlier. There's side effects.
Yeah. But like, side effects that fucking everything, bro.
They probably would have died at 55, 60 years old.
If you didn't change.
And they just lost like
and like you said,
pounds.
That's the same person that's over there eating McDonald's every day.
Or drinking Dasani water. It's like, that's not good for you. But it reminds me of that video you posted at the Jake Paul fight of that asshole. That dude was just being so disrespectful for no reason. Yeah, y'all are all just laughing at him. Shit, did you ever find out who he was?
Wait, what happened?
Jake Paul fight. We were ringside, pretty much like 2 rows back. The Celsius CEO owner was in front of me. It was really cool because I love Celsius. I don't know if you like the energy drink. Plus, dude, I invested in it too. I had some shares, and I was like, man, you made me some money, dude. But yeah, so it was all a good vibe until the heckling, because when my woman's around, I don't mind the curse words, but certain things, I'm old school, man. Don't curse in front of my women. That's disrespectful, dude. Yeah. I'm not gonna go and start dropping F-bombs and just trashy talk around Larry's wife, man. I'm not gonna do that. But some dudes are disrespectful, right? Mm-hmm. And so he was saying stuff like, I mean, y'all can bleep it out. I'm just gonna say it, but he's just like, Jake, he would say it over and over and over. Jake Paul's mom sucks dick. Jake Paul's mom sucks dick.
Yeah. Over and over.
Just repeated.
Jake Paul's mom takes it in the ass. Jake Paul, like, just stupid. Bro, this guy's probably like 50.
He's like right by the door, right? He's like pretty close to where he's at, so you can hear everything.
It's just nonstop.
Just vulgar stuff. And at one point, I say something, but my wife turns around and she's like, you dummy. Like, she's a woman. Of course she sucks her husband's dick. I hope she sucks her husband's dick. Like, she's a good wife, probably. Like, you need to get your trash talk right, dude. So I just turn around when Jake knocked down Nate. I turn around. I'm just like, this is typical sport. Like, now what? Now what? I was like, what you gonna do now? And and he's so emotionally slow or whatever. He can't take it. He just starts crossing line. Like, I'm gonna effing kill you. I'm gonna see you afterwards. He's like, you're fucking dead. Then his homie's like, he's like, you just past the line.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
not
wait,
just shit talking.
I'm like, oh wait, you're gonna kill me? I was like, okay. I was like, do it now. Little did he know, like, we had a group, like, we were all separated. Deep. We had like 12 people, like, all around, and they're just all watching. And I was like, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna fight at the Jake Paul fight. I'm not gonna get kicked out.
Yeah.
He also, though, coincidentally, because when I walked in, he came up and said hi to me, and then Preston came up and said hi to me, and then he had met Preston Plays there, right? Didn't y'all?
I had never met Preston before.
Yeah,
you were sitting next to him.
Yeah, they ended up sitting next to each other.
Right next to us.
Big friend of the show.
No,
Big friend of the show.
Man. I love that guy. Good energy. Super good energy.
Preston was cool. Him and his girl. Yeah, we're like right. So he was right there, and he ain't getting no arguments with nobody.
Nah, hell no.
He was right there.
He's just like for you, like
he's like, dang, man. He's like, chill. Like,
it's not in him. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
It's just some people, they're just not. They don't choose violence. Neither do you. But if shit were to hit
you don't
the
put
fan,
up with certain things.
I don't get it. I've always been that way. Like, if you disrespect my girl or somebody I love, bro, it's on.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't know. I just can't relate to it. I'm not ever that stupid.
Yeah.
Where I'm going
like,
to.
Why
be,
are you doing that?
I mean, I'm the
especially
same way,
women
shit.
are very protective. That's the old school. I don't know, masculine part of me. I'm not going to sit by and let someone say something in front of my woman, especially if she's like, feels like it's
offending her.
Feels weird.
Like, it's gonna go down. Like, either I'm gonna tell you, and then I got no problem going outside. But these dudes were so drunk, it stopped. And I didn't want to get in a fight, right? And what's funny, on the other side, a big old fight happened. I
saw that.
And because people saw it on the social media, thought it was me.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Because he was posting as it was happening.
As it was going down.
It was like, no, it was actually another guy I know, Jake Paul's main investor money guy.
Oh shit.
I hope it never gets out. But yeah, this guy Chase was going at it with Nate's manager.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, and you could see the videos on him. The Dallas, what's that? Dallas.
I saw Dallas TV.
Yeah, I remember tell what anything is though.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I remember
commotion.
seeing the scuffle.
That fight was fucking dope. I don't know if you saw what like how I was moving around, but I had a commissioner's badge, so I was basically the commission. People were mistaking me for the commissioner because on our badge it said commissioner, and so I could go anywhere in the entire place except for physically on the ring.
You saw the tank roll in, right?
I was everywhere, so I could literally go anywhere. I went inside the gated area where the computers are. Yeah, that would be tight. That was actually Whistle and Diesel. Actually, was the one driving the tank.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah,
No
it's
shit.
his tank.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was
Get it in.
Yeah,
I saw they loaded it through some back ramp, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Where the hell does that go out to the street?" Yeah.
it's crazy
does.
the power of social media now.
When I had to
like,
take the
goals,
stuff for
man.
the Errol Spence fight.
insane.
You gotta go that same way. Yeah.
I saw you just posted a video recently to your YouTube channel, didn't you?
Yeah, just relaunched a YouTube. Got a whole team now. I'm in it to win it. I love long form content. Like, I watch a ton of YouTube.
Yeah.
That's all I watch.
And yeah, so I was like, you know what? I want to do this stuff because I got I want to talk a little bit more. I got some long form stuff that I want to put out there. And I, hope people like it.
Like daily life? Like life?
It's a bunch of different things. It might turn into different channels, but right now it is everything to do with the medical business growth, trying to talk about peptides.
There's no market right now for it, so it's perfect.
Show changing people's lives with the stem cell exosome treatments. I mean, no one's doing this stuff as far as like an influencer on YouTube, you know, traveling around the world, giving people shots and helping them, you know, repair their bodies. So that it's just, you know, everything is going on with with Transcend, the US exosomes, but then the big passion now, and this is a fun project, is home development. I like house stuff.
I like building stuff.
And I noticed, like anytime I change something in the house, like you guys, I mean, renovating, like how did you build this room? People love to see that.
See the process.
Because they want to go and like, oh, okay, I'm going to put up this cool wall. I'm going to make a studio just like this. And you guys break down the video and show what you did. But with home, that's just where I'm at. That's a chapter in my life. Is we just closed. Not closed. We signed a contract in a home Saturday. So I'm stressed out like crazy right now. Trying to get my second home. Up in Prosper.
I was about to say, didn't you just get that home? And before that, you're in it. Like you transitioned a lot, haven't you? Since we've met.
4 kids, bro.
Yeah.
4 kids in 5 years. Twins.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and not like 5 because the set of twins.
Yeah.
But not only that, remember the attempts he had as well.
With that,
I'm not even trying to touch on that or anything like that. But the attempts that you and your wife have had.
You know, we weren't prepared for it, so I wish someone would have told us about it. But we had miscarriages. Sheena had a miscarriage, and you're not prepared for it. I'm on social media, right? We announce our first pregnancy, right? And you get all the compliments, and then literally a week later, because we did it I think 13 weeks, and then like at 14 weeks she had a miscarriage, and so you're heartbroken. She's heartbroken, and the route she found out, it's never fun. But like, you know, the girl's devastated, and you're just trying to support her, and that's you start to realize, wow, this is why we worship women. This is why there's that one chick that we lead through life and take care of, because there's some certain things that they're doing that we cannot do.
Right.
And we're only the rock for them. And this is when it built our relationship. That's why women are awesome, man. That's why women are blessings, dude. Like they can go, we've probably heard those stories about women going full term all the way and delivering a stillborn, the baby's dead. And like, my best friends went through that. Best friends.
That's rough.
They're trying to catch up with us, right? And everyone's celebrating all the parties, all the gifts, the nursery's made. Then you go to deliver, and the baby had no heartbeat, and it's just like, dude, that's why. How can you not, dude? This is like, I don't know.
But
that's why God is such a big deal. You know, like, who do you rely on when that happens?
Yeah.
You know, like that's the only thing that got us through that miscarriage was our faith. You know, spending time in church, spending time in prayer, the scripture, and we're not like holy rollers. We're not out there constantly doing that, but because that was the foundation of our marriage, after that miscarriage, you know, we decided to go get married. You know, it was my grandmother. She was like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, Jason. She's like, but maybe if you get married, maybe you'll have God's blessing. She's like, I don't know. I'm not saying it. She was trying not to offend me.
Yeah.
I was like, Grandma, to be honest, I don't know why we're not married. I have no clue why. I guess we're just skipping steps.
Yeah.
Because we live together.
And your relationship with God was strong at that point, right?
Yeah. We just kind of forgot about that part.
Yeah.
And so we got it done quick. And she was pregnant literally like 6 weeks later.
I do know that like when kids die in the family, sometimes it leads to divorce between the two people too. Statistically, like if like the son passes away, and then usually they end up getting a divorce because it's just not the same. So, you know, being able to make us stronger is
for sure a blessing.
That is.
Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing tearing us apart. Nothing. We've been through it all, man.
I was watching his story. I think it was last night. One of your sons, what's his? The one he's got he's got a 6-pack, bro.
Jackson.
I've seen him.
This kid is ripped.
Yeah, this kid's ripped.
Yeah. Like he's getting him to do crunches. I'm just like, damn. And he sits up to do one, and you can see like his little kid 6-pack. I was like, damn, this little kid ripped.
He came out ripped.
Is the other one not like that?
He's got abs for sure. He's a little softer. Yeah.
They're not the same. Like
they're very different body type. They're both thin.
Yes.
Like my kids eat healthy, man. They're
for sure.
They're eating carnivore fruit vegetable diet. They're not even eating we don't take them to McDonald's. We don't take them all that crap. I'm going to let them choose to do that later in their life.
Yeah.
And I mean, they have candy. I reward them with candy all the time.
What about Chick-fil-A? I feel like parents allow.
You're
It's like always the
like
one
Chick-fil-A's,
that's
yes.
yeah.
I wish, now that I know some of the facts about it,
I just saw something on TikTok
it's not
about
any
it.
better than McDonald's.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
It's just as bad.
Yeah, they do. They put a lot of stuff into
Maybe
that,
the grilled
into
chicken.
Yeah.
I had it last
But
night.
who eats that?
Grilled chicken. You had the grilled chicken?
Yeah, well, I watched it on TikTok and
you
then I
watched
went and got it.
This shit's terrible. Let me go get it.
I was leaving the gym and the grilled chicken nuggets. They have like the high protein without.
I mean, the grilled nuggets got to be
And I left
okay,
it
right?
alone.
It's grilled chicken.
That's the only thing I really eat there is the grilled nuggets.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
Yeah.
the safest route. What's even more weird is I always try to substitute the fries for a fruit cup, but you have to pay more for the fruit.
That's weird.
Like, why would I? Like, why can't I just substitute fries for fruit? Why do I got to pay another
That's
$1.50?
why I didn't even know that was
Fruit
a thing.
costs
didn't
more
know
than
that.
potatoes.
They just don't want to feed you that. They want to give you the bullshit stuff
they're
that's
like,
got the
take
stuff
these-
in it.
No, that
Take
shit
these
just cost them more money,
fries.
man. They're buying those waffle fries by the fucking truckload and the fruit they're having
Man,
to get
I
fresh.
said that like 15 years ago. I saw a can of like almond butter.
Okay.
Like it was like almond butter, like just almond butter, and then you had like a massive bag of chips. But the almond butter, we all know that now. It's like $15
Yeah.
for some organic almond butter.
Yeah,
The
it's
bag of
expensive.
chips was like $2.
$2, yeah.
And I'm like, dude, eating healthy is definitely more expensive
For sure.
But I'll tell you, it's always worth it because you're investing in yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of the listeners, they might not be able to invest like big time money right now, but it starts with investing in yourself. You know.
Now, earlier you talked about going and buying all like $500 worth of like protein and stuff like that. Do you consider GNC as like a place that's like suitable to go buy the things that you need if you're in the gym?
I haven't been in forever, so I don't even know, honestly. But I would. I mean, my first instinct is no, but they might have some good stuff. I just know their line sucks. Like, don't buy the GNC line. It's,
That's what I use.
All daily vitamins and everything.
it's like the same as a Flintstone vitamin. They just put GNC on it.
It's crazy.
Damn, I really wish I had the discipline of eating on time. That's one of the reasons why I don't grow significantly, because I once I get into work, it's just like 100 miles an hour, and I just can't find time to just like, all right, time to eat. All right, time to take your protein shake. All right, time to eat. Like, it's just impossible. But again, it has to do with discipline. It's like, do you pack lunches and things when you're on the road? Like, do you have certain things like a bag that you take with you everywhere? I feel like you would have
Not
like, a bag
anymore, but I
full of
do.
shit.
If it fits that day, then I'm gonna do it. I mean, I did it yesterday. We drove. I wasn't gonna eat. Who knows what was on the way to
Yeah.
Oklahoma City? I was
Same.
like,
I got that ham sandwich.
Robertson's ham sandwich.
Yeah.
Bro, don't sleep on that place.
yeah, we probably passed that. Yeah.
Yo,
You did for
next
sure.
time,
You did for sure.
get
Yeah.
the sausage biscuit from there, dog. And you can buy meat from their deli and take it home with you. Which
They make their own beef jerky.
Yeah.
They've been there
Might
since
not
like
be bad.
1939.
Turkey,
Yeah.
chicken. Yeah.
She was stunting though that day when she said they make like a
To all
1,000
these
sandwiches
different
in the morning or
jerky.
some
Yeah.
dumb shit.
I was like, no one stops there.
Yeah, we're like only the people
You're
that go
like
in
some
there.
random
We're
stop
going
in Podunk, Oklahoma.
there. But you'll take a bag if it's
Prep. You
suitable.
gotta prep for
Yeah.
success,
Yeah.
bro. You gotta prep for success in everything in life. And if you're not prepping with food, and that's what we taught in high school. Like, people should learn how to prepare their own food, not just to look a certain way, but what if shit hits the fan with the government and something goes wrong? Like, and you don't even know how to.
That's why I taught myself
make
how
your own-
to
you know,
grow fruit and vegetables.
yeah.
I have a full vegetable fruit farm.
Agriculture should be every year, but then also at one point it's like making your portioned meals and putting them in your fridge, and then when you leave for the day, you take your meals with you. That's all I did yesterday. Was just I had a cooler bag. It also had stem cell exomes in it. I tried to hide it from. I put foil over the top, and I put my 2 meals in there.
That's always
And we
my
ate 'em
hardest
on the
thing
road.
is eating good on the road. 'Cause I lost 100 pounds doing keto, and I've gained it back since then. Not all of it, but I gained at least 50 pounds back since I lost 100 pounds doing keto. But traveling is my worst time when trying to stick to it.
Especially when half the camp doesn't give a fuck
when,
about what they eat.
Especially when everyone else just eats like shit. When we
Especially
travel.
when Scotty just orders one of everything
Yes,
on the menu.
But we're trying to taste test everything. You know, like we've never
That's
been.
the worst part about doing food reviews.
Next
Also,
thing you
on
know,
a YouTube
you're
channel.
eating a 10x10 hamburger called the cardiac arrest.
I
and
was
you're just
in,
like,
a,
what
in a bowl of fries or tater tots.
It was 8,000 calories.
We split it between
The burger was this
We
tall.
split it between like 8 of us. We
You
ate it
had
all.
to have felt like dirt after that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
We
trash.
did, yeah.
It's trash.
Well, know what's weird is like, I mean, it's not weird, but I'll feel great, and then like I'll go eat McDonald's, and then I instantly just everything turns all the way down, and it's so weird how it just things like that affect your body.
Because you've been at the top.
Yeah,
I was going to say that earlier. Like, you've been a little bit. I tell everyone, reach your peak at least once in life. I promise you probably never go back. Like, you were close. You were on your path, Ian.
Yeah.
But you need to make a goal to reach your peak.
Yeah, and that-
like
and it
you
was
did it.
just-
You were investing hard in trainers.
I was.
investing hard in your supplements and your food.
Last
your
year was probably the most fit
You're
I
building
was.
this and still making time to work out every single day. And you went from like a super skinny dude to like, all right, you're starting to put on muscle. Your size of your clothes probably changed.
Yeah, well, that's when I got the Ink magazine opportunity, and it was when I was the best time I was. So I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna take this shirt off and fucking take a picture. Let's go." And then I tried boxing, bro. It was the worst mistake ever.
You hurt yourself.
No, I just lost everything because I didn't
yeah, you're
realize
cutting too much.
It's
the
a
intake
full
of food
body,
you need
yeah.
to take
I did
when you're
that.
full body boxing.
Yeah.
And so I did like a week. I was at like 185 or 188 or something like that. Then I did it for a week, and then I went and weighed myself. I was 167. I was like, just lost everything. It's just I now don't get it twisted. I was cut everywhere. But bro, not only that, but like my fingers hurt, my toe, like my entire body was sore after every session.
I'm boxing once a week now. That's it.
Can't
once
do no
a
more
week.
than that. It's just too much.
Yeah, you got to intake a lot.
How
of
much do
food.
you work? The other day, I was like, "Yo, when are you available?" He's like, "Well, probably like 4 to 6 because 12 to 3 is flex time." I'm like, "You work out for 3 hours? Like, is that typical? 3 hours?"
No, my flex time means I had time off.
I thought that meant like flex.
No,
like-
flexible time.
He
like-
said flex time. I thought he said, how long
I'm
do you
in the
usually work
gym.
out for? Like how long? It's definitely a couple hours.
Legs, I like to go about 90 minutes. It's nothing like
Is it
used to
twice a
be.
day?
I'm not trying to win anything anymore, you know? So 90
makes
minutes, an hour tops. I love 30-minute workouts. I'm super efficient now. Remember, 4 kids, 4 and under. And I'm multiple companies. I can't spend hours in the gym anymore. I mean, maybe I collab with someone. We're having fun.
Right.
We're talking business. Maybe a partner comes to work out with me, and then we can burn time. I'll take longer. But my goal is to be in and out 60 minutes, first thing in the morning, get in, get out, and get on with the rest of your stuff.
You
that's
did, but I mean, you
important.
built your garage out to be. I don't know if y'all guys.
I've seen it,
I remember during
it's
COVID,
sick,
or I think it was around like COVID.
Yeah.
He had the mat that says like Poston on the floor.
I remember
and all
seeing
that
that.
That's
stuff.
custom rubber flooring.
that shit was-
embedded into the concrete.
Oh wow.
I'll
what?
do that with the new house too.
That's sick.
Yeah, like I could introduce you to these guys if they come in and they could do your personal logo or your company logo, and it's super dope.
Was it
It's-
rubberized too? Like
It's recycled rubber, and they just mix it with some epoxy, and they smash it down. They create
it's
whatever
down
design
into
you
it.
want. You want a big lightning bolt in the middle of your garage? They'll do that.
So if when the weight hits it, if it's epoxy, it doesn't break.
Epoxy will break. It'll break the epoxy. And
Okay.
epoxy's slippery.
But what was yours on? The rubber you said?
It's just rubber.
So
Yeah.
do they actually go into the concrete? Like they drill down in and then embed it
Yeah,
in, or
that's
it
what-
sits on top?
It just sits on top. It's
Got
like
it, okay.
it's like a glue. Our back patio is like that too. It's the same thing. You see the rubber at like playgrounds or Vegas pools.
Sure.
That's how they started.
Gotcha.
And so I was one of the first residential homes they did. And I've connected them with some other influencers too. But it's great because it's like this new house. I've got a 4-car garage. It's really a 5-car garage. I'm gonna floor the whole thing with rubber. Now epoxy looks shinier. I guess it looks more luxurious.
Yeah.
Dude, you get out your car and you can slip and fall.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
raining.
sure. Oh, yeah.
And you drop beer bottle, anything glass.
Right.
The kids in there playing, they fall and smack their head in the garage. You know, they're gonna get crack their head open. But the rubber, you can literally lay down and do crunches. You can drive your car on it, and then it insulates your garage, so there's no echo. When you blast speakers and I put a TV
Sounds
in there,
better.
It's just like this.
Yeah.
Insulates the
nice.
floor. So yeah.
I need a gym in my garage. I have a gym upstairs. It sucks.
You have so much shit in your garage.
Let's build one, dude. Let me. I
love
don't need a production
I need
cost.
to. Do
all
you
this,
have a wholesale account with like places to buy it from?
that's what this home development thing. What I'm doing to YouTube is like we'll put you on the tube. We'll
that'd be cool.
transform your garage.
Oh, you could come
You give me your
transform my
budget.
gym.
Yeah, we'll just align you with different, like the good equipment. Like everyone just
Right.
goes and buys, oh, I'm buying Bowflex. Or they think they're like, I'm
Nah,
gonna buy
I-
this cage. Like I can get,
I got the Chuck Norris total gym.
do you?
I do.
He's about to laugh.
It's one of my favorite things.
Do you? Like, you didn't believe it?
If you use it.
I do. It's one of
Okay.
my favorite things.
Sliding up and down.
Yeah.
Whoa. I have the one that.
You know Larry's
I
like
have the
smoking
inner-
a J before he does that.
Yeah, for sure. I have the interchangeable plates for the curls and for the long bar to curl on. It's cool, but it's just like, nah.
You have
That's
to go to a
annoying.
gym.
I like John Reed's. Have you been to John Reed's?
Yeah.
I love
We
John
could
Reed's.
make a John Reed inspired gym with the lights.
Yeah.
You know,
You
just
get the
gotta
DJ booth, everything?
That's how
we can
mine
do 2
is.
tiers.
I just don't have the floor done, but I have that.
The
I
floor
have
is the foundation.
lights, like,
That's the
they're-
biggest cost because
The floor
You
is the
can do
biggest
the-
cost?
well, it depends. I mean, depends on what else we add. But like my floors on my house, because it's a 3-car garage right now, it's probably 10 G's.
God.
But also, it would be less if I didn't do the custom coloring and the
all the
custom.
custom
Right, like
stuff.
if you would
sheet
have done it
logo,
normal, it would have upped the price of
probably
the
8.
house. But now that it says Poston on there, and so the next buyer is going to
We
be
already
like,
did that. No, we cut out. We just it literally you peel the logo right out because it's a
Alright.
circle.
It just comes off.
And then they've already got the rubber. They'll come in and fill the rubber. It's
Perfect.
like
Yeah, that's perfect.
20 minutes.
Easy.
You know.
I slapped my whole backyard around my pool for that much. And I thought that made sense. I don't know if it brought the value up, but it needed it for
Definitely
sure.
didn't.
There's a place right behind here. If you cross over the highway, I think it's called like Murphy's or something. It's like a gym spot, but it's like wholesale stuff. And I've been in there a few times, and they have all the shit that you don't see on the internet that you would want in your gym. I feel like anything on the internet is just a
snake oil.
Yes, bro. Like any of the workout stuff
Yeah.
on there. And that's where I got all my shit. And I started working out there. I'm like, shit's crap.
See,
However, what I will
It's
like
expensive.
stuff like the perfect push-ups, like I love those things. Just the little circular things that
Yeah.
twist. Perfect put like
Low
there's
cost.
certain ones that the little pull-up bar in my doorway, like
get you
stuff
some.
like
You
that.
need some parallettes, the little bars and just the metal things on the ground that are U shape. You know, different levels for doing the dips and the push ups and things on that.
You're talking about the metal thing that's like
Yep.
that, like this looks
Yep.
like a handlebar.
Gymnasts
and
use.
There's different. Yeah.
You cork, like you just hold stuff.
Yeah.
You want for a home gym, you want something that's versatile. Like a lot of people, well, that's just their choice, but they'll go and like literally buy leg extension for their home gym. Like
You're
the
saying
leg-
because it's like limited space, so you want to make sure
Yeah.
whatever's
Yeah.
in that area can be utilized in a million different
What's
ways.
going to give you the best workout
Right,
possible
right.
with the least amount of
we
stuff?
activate the most muscle fibers and burn the most calories with what piece of equipment. That's versatility rather than it just does one thing. Now, certain people have things that are like, man, I love that because that's what I use. So I'm putting that in there, like a treadmill, right? It takes up a good amount of space. Treadmill, though, people tend to use, so it's a good waste of space. You know?
Yeah, that's what I have. I went to. You can go to like this Best Buy down the road. It's like a refurbished Best Buy, so someone returns something, and it still works, but they can't put it back on the shelf. It's next door at this other Best Buy. So I went in there, and it was like a $1,700 Nordic track with the screen, subscription, all that stuff, just like a Peloton, or is that, how do you say it?
Peloton.
Peloton. And I paid like $700 for it. Open it up, all the parts are there. It's brand new, and I use it all the fucking time. And I'm taking bike rides in Italy, and they got like HIIT training classes I take with this girl, and shit's tight. I like it. It's the only thing I spent money on that I enjoyed.
That's what
All
it's
right,
all about.
Jason, I need to fire off some questions, some rapid fire questions.
Let's go.
And then we'll get this thing wrapped up. This is obviously for the people out there listening. I'm trying to touch on some things that I feel like people would want to know from you, particularly as a professional. Is there an ideal shoe for peak performance in the gym?
I want to know that.
Oh man, you're talking to somebody that I wear a different pair of shoes every day.
I know, and that's why I wanted to ask you, because you actually wear
But
sneakers.
The one
you
I wear the
actually wear.
most, and it's okay. So, oh man, I mean, leg days is I always wear a flat bottom shoe. You know, it's always a wide toe flat bottom shoe. I mean, it can be anything from Vans to Converse to Dunks. Low top.
It's very flat.
Just flat.
Do you wear Vivo barefoot?
I have those.
That's what I used to wear. And like, because you said wide foot, and at the front it opens up so your toes can like
web.
Yeah, you're not like pushed. Like you can get control to the ground.
I just hate the way they look.
Yeah, no, they're for sure in their recycled
I
material.
look like I'm going swimming at the beach. I'm going snorkeling.
When I'm at the gym, Converse and Blazers are like.
I remember at one point the Metcon,
Blazers,
Yep,
the high Blazers.
you know the Nike Metcon shoes? At one point, I feel like everybody that was lifting was wearing these Nike Metcon.
Go there now. It's high Blazer highs.
That is the most versatile shoe, probably.
Okay.
I just, man, they always have problems.
look.
with them. I think
now
they're a
they're-
little thin. Yeah, it's the look. And I have probably 4 pairs of Metcons.
Now they're on like the Metcon. I think I leaked like the Metcon 7 like a couple months ago. We had them early, but
that's
another
probably
like
what I'd say. I mean, there's one gym shoe. The Metcon's probably it. I'm just not too excited to say
sure.
that.
Okay.
How do the sneakers come in? How do they play a role in the fitness journey of the average individual? When you first started working out, I'm sure everybody was just in a regular ass tank top and regular ass gym shorts. And now I feel like you go to the gym and you're seeing a lot more Jordans and aesthetic revolution, like branding. Like how important is that for the journey? Can I start a fitness journey and not care about what I wear and just focus on the journey and still be successful on the internet? Or does the clothing wearing aesthetic revolution make me look like a more badass guy?
For me, it did matter. I guess there's not for everyone. I mean, there's like the country boys out there wearing, what they can find out in,
Yeah.
Brady, Texas, population 1,000, whatever they can get down there. But for me, it was because it did land me success outside the gym. Like my style in the gym, because I was lifting and had a stylish appeal, like companies started to hit me up for like, hey, we'll pay you literally to endorse our stuff. And like 2012, that was unheard of. Like, wait,
Yeah.
you're gonna give me clothes and I'm gonna get paid to work out.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm gonna take this 8 to 10,000 I'm making a month. Now I'm gonna be making like 13, 15,000 a month. Like, shoot, okay, let's go.
And you don't have to pay for clothes?
Yeah. So social media is a little bit about branding, but just stay true to yourself. Like your style in the gym. Like I like what you're wearing. I always love graphic tees and not necessarily wearing fabric that was performance driven, like the wick away silver lined stuff. I mean,
Skin tight
I have that
stuff.
too. Yeah, the Under Armour and all that. So I think for for certain people, I mean, because like Dion says, like you look good, you feel good, and you perform good, and so he's all about that. And that's the way it was for me too, because like I couldn't afford certain shoes, and so when I got the money that I wanted, I loved going to the gym just to show off my J's with my fire shorts or whatever fit was rocking that day. And
That's how I feel about it too. So I'm with you on that.
yeah.
No one ever says anything to me, and my subscribers talk shit to me about it when I post it, but I go straight from here to the gym. So whatever shoe I wore that day, I wear in the gym. So I know when I walk into John Reed's, they think I'm just the most bougiest person because I'll have all my diamonds on. I'll put these away in my wallet when I start, but I'll walk in with them because I don't want to leave them in my car. So I'm working out with diamond chains, fucking off-white fucking AJ1s, and people were like, what the fuck? Yesterday I was in Palm Angels.
But you really just didn't want to bring an extra pair of shoes.
Didn't want to, because you have to remember when you get home, take them off, and then when you go back to your car, you got to remember to take them from your house, put them in your car, and then you have to change it. Like it's annoying. So I just wear whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, next. Obviously, tech wearables have become a big thing in fitness, as well as smart sneakers. Do you have any technology that you've seen or come across that you think is going to be the next big thing in the fitness world?
I mean, well, I live off of tech. I mean, I have a Dexcom as a diabetic.
Like you're just like I said, you wear your Apple
all
Watch.
of it,
like
yeah.
that's like your number one. And
Apple Watch, because it tells, for me personally, it just tells me my blood sugar that reads to my sensor that's embedded on my leg right now.
Cool.
Yeah,
So like that tech was what I was interested in. And what's funny, now they've got, so Dexcom was one of the biggest brands. I'm invested in a new brand that actually is a chip that's implanted under the skin that raises your blood sugar. You don't have to change it out every 6 months.
Wow.
So anything that helps me regulate and tell me where my blood sugar's at all the time.
You're for it.
But now they have, the general public can get it. It's a company called Levels. And I wanted to work with them, but like, oh, we can't, we're not approved to help actual diabetics. We can only help, but we can tell like, oh, you guys where your blood sugar's at. So I don't, but man, I don't know, man. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like people been getting athletic, and I like technology, I really do. But when it comes down to fitness, man, I tried the Whoop band. I feel like it just stressed me out. I mean, but I know people that love that Whoop band. It's telling them all their sleep patterns and all that. For me, it's just like, dude, I think one of the best things you can do is integrate it in your life as simple as possible. Just smash workouts, become a peak performing man, and just watch yourself break records. And if you need technology to do that, cool. But I don't really have anything, man. I guess, MyFitnessPal. I love MyFitnessPal. Track your macro. It teaches people to track their macronutrients. If you don't know what's in your McDonald's when you're just going hard with the boys, like put that shit in MyFitnessPal.
And so it breaks it down by calories.
Really see what's
and do it. You start doing it, becomes a habit, and you start seeing what I have to do every day. Food is math to me. I can't just eat. I have to count up the carbs. I count up the fats. I count up the protein every meal. And I do it without having to look it up in MyFitnessPal now. But when I was first diagnosed, I put everything in MyFitnessPal, and I still use it just to know sometimes where I'm at. Like with you losing the weight, if you're like at the end of the night, like, hey, put in all your food in your MyFitnessPal, you would have seen like, dang, I got 2,800 calories today. I know, like Jason said, and I mean, all this thing I've looked up, I need 4,500 boxing. Then that would have stopped you from losing all the muscle.
Right.
You would have known
it was already too late by the time I figured it out.
Yep.
Mental grit in business. Obviously, you have become a successful businessman, but you've also been successful on the fitness side. What are some lessons that you learned in the gym that you can now apply to the boardroom?
That's a good question, man. Sometimes just give yourself a chance. So that means like just get your foot in the door. Like with the gym, sometimes you just need to show up. You don't feel like it, but you just need to show up.
That's for damn sure.
I think that's the biggest thing.
That's the hardest thing, I think, for the gym is just get there.
Just get there, man, because you'll never regret it. No one's ever said like, oh, I went, but I wish I wouldn't have.
Right.
It's never happened to me, and it has never happened to anyone I know. Like they went, and maybe it was tougher that day because they lost sleep or whatever's going on in their life, whatever. But they're still happy they did it. And with business, sometimes it is like, oh, you're supposed to be reading these books because the truth is you're not the most knowledgeable about your industry. Just open up the book, start reading every night. Or you need to be taking a course and you're like, I know I can add these other certifications, degrees, or, I'm not a big college guy, but I do. It's basically like, give yourself a chance by doing extra. Like just get your foot in the door. Like some people, you've got a job and you don't like your job and you're whining and complaining to everyone. Another industry you like, but you procrastinated for 3 years on it when maybe God's calling you to do it, or maybe everyone's telling you like, hey, Scotty, you need to go do this. And like, deep down inside you're supposed to be doing something, but you keep procrastinating. Like just get your foot in the door. Sometimes all you need is a little positive momentum in business. It doesn't mean momentum is going to happen tomorrow, next week, or even next year. But if you're one of those habitual people, like, dude, when I see something I want, I step towards it and I just go and I just get in there. And I don't have expectations to be rich or to own my own company or to be, massive anytime. It's just about waking up and giving myself a chance to put my foot in the door every day. Just show up.
With that being said, are you afraid to fail? And meaning that in terms of like you try a new I have a business opportunity for you and it sounds great to you, but on the other, shoulder, you're like, but this might not work. Will you still do it anyways, knowing that you're not afraid to fail? Or do you express some type of hesitance when you feel like it might not work out?
Anyone who tells you, like especially any man who says that they're not afraid to fail, they're lying. They're lying, man. Like maybe there's levels of fear you don't have, but like, oh, I'm not scared to fail. Like, dude, I don't know. I mean, different chapters in your life are different fears. And right now, my fear is if I fail at something, then that means I've probably allocated time for it. So you're taking time away from my kids and my wife. And you're taking the potential to make money elsewhere. So I'm afraid and I'm fearful of aligning with the right partners. From everything I know about business now, I'm afraid to go the wrong direction and spend time with people, and then for them to disappoint me. So yeah, I mean, I hate to say, like, I'm definitely I'm praying over it, and I know God has a purpose for every single business direction I take. Like, that's straight up. Like, I pray over everything that I'm doing, and I really have to, because sometimes you want something, you're like, man, what's an example? Something that failed for me recently. Well, skincare line. Our skincare line, I knew when I was getting involved with this guy and another partner, it was going to need a lot of money to start. And I was having to rely on a market capitalist guy to raise us anywhere from $500 to $1 million. And I had no faith in this guy. I didn't know him that well, but he says he can do it. And he sent me some portfolio where he's raised money before. But I was like fearful. But I was like, you know what? At least I'm going to try. But so what I did that I see a lot of younger people and even guys my age make the mistake of is they put way too much hope into the business. It's just call it naivety. They're just naive. Like, so I got into it fearful that the line wasn't going to work. And the reason why I'm scared is because I'm putting this stuff on my social media and everyone's going to see it. And that's a representation of who I am as a business person. And I even told all my friends, like, hey, we're going to go public. You know, we were going to be on the Canadian stock exchange and all this stuff. I told, but I'm fearful, like, man, this might not work. But the reason why I did it anyway and just push my fear to the side instead of, like, not certain if it's going to work. The reason why I did it was because I didn't put everything into it. I didn't put all my chips in that bag. Yeah. Like, I knew
it was like a side thing.
You had a little risk tolerance there.
So yeah, so the fear had me in a good way. I utilized it. So, like, hey, don't co-sign on this completely, like this. And yeah, I mean, I had no control over how we were raising money, and I could have went and find another investor. I was like, listen, the skincare thing, I love it. I think we had peptides in our moisturizer, men's skincare, but it's like, the truth is I don't have the time to build this. So, in a way, sometimes when you're feeling scared of something, realize, like, that doesn't mean you just don't even get into a relationship with that person or that business. Just remember, like, okay, not to even take it too serious. Like, I'm going half foot in, and if everything goes well, boom, I'm all in.
Okay.
Right? The fear starts to go away. Oh, this person is what he says he is. Ian says he's bringing this to the game. He's bringing this to the game. Like, okay, it's clicked. 6 months of pure progress. Now I'm all in.
Right.
So sometimes fear is a way of telling you, like, hey, dude, slow down. Ease up a little bit, because there's a reason why you have this fear.
Okay, and you mentioned social media in there, and obviously you've built a huge page, over 1 million followers just on Instagram alone. And in this day and age, the pressures of social media can take a huge toll on your mental health, not only your physical health. So with that being said, having as many subscribers and fans as you do, how are you able to balance the pressures, that the chatter of the people on your Instagram and just some of the negative things that come along with that? How are you able to balance that and still get your shit done and handle what you do and still spread your messages confidently and say what you have to say and not let the other aspect of that affect you?
You know what? It's so cliche. It was like, just remember why you started. I remember when I started, I had no goal other than just to give bits of gold every single day, free fitness tips, free nutrition tips, talk about food. It was as simple as taking a picture of my food. Like, here's what I'm eating. You guys should eat this too. Here's what I'm eating. You guys should eat this. It's like super simple. And that's the way it should be now. And it is hard. Dude, it is so hard because I don't know what the public thinks about influencers, but it ain't just like some side gig.
Yeah.
If you have multiple businesses and you're feeding your family off this stuff, it is a full on. It's the same thing as you and your mortgage company or your homeowner's insurance company, your State Farm company. Like, it's a full on 9 to 5 full time job. Really not.
Yeah,
it's 24, 24/7.
Yeah, like yesterday I worked, all day. Yeah. I mean, didn't expect to drive to Oklahoma City, but all that came from, social media basically. So, yeah, I kind of forgot what you asked.
Just how you deal with the negativity. Like, obviously, like let's be blunt. Some of your political beliefs don't always align with some people who follow you. And so I see that you also face a lot of backlash with some of the things that you say, but it never steers you away, or you know what I mean? And so I just want somebody who's out there who may be afraid to say how they really feel, or may be afraid to alienate people in their following, you know, what does it take to really just stay true and consistent?
I mean, if I'm being honest with you, you see people talk on podcasts like they have all the answers sometimes. And the truth is, I don't have the best success with that. I have sucked at that at times.
Okay.
And I have to ask myself why, because it does. I go to bed and I'm talking to my wife about something some stranger said.
Right.
Man, you know, but you learn and you detach yourself. And so when I detach at a certain hour, I have a complete shut off. Like there's a little notification that can come about social media that we've all probably seen. It says like, oh, you should probably turn Instagram off. You should probably turn whatever this off.
Yeah, screen time.
Yeah, but now it literally says like it's shutting off. And it does. So that way I've got the last 4 hours of the day and I'm just detached and might get on to do something specific. But you have to detach yourself from the hate, because there's certain times of the day you're not, and I promise you, The Rock's dealing with this too. Obama dealt with it. Like all these icons that are huge in the world, they have to detach themselves. To think that people don't get upset when people say ugly things or disagree with you, that's inaccurate. Yeah. Everyone has a switch that is flicked, and you know, whenever they're pissed off. So you have to be able to get away from that switch sometimes. And for me, it's not whenever things are going great. Like right now, there's a lot of positive momentum going. I'm not even gonna turn on the news. We haven't. My wife's mother came in town, turned on the news, and I was like, "Hey, no offense, but like we're not watching news this weekend. It's Piper's birthday.
Junkie. That's all I watch.
Really?
I'm a news.
See, I'm the
junkie.
opposite. I can't watch the news either.
That's all I watch.
No.
Can't watch
Negative thoughts.
even the stuff. Even the stuff I agree with. Like I'm not watching it because if it doesn't influence what I'm doing at the time, then I cannot even entertain it.
So for me, it's more so like I'm like CNBC type news, financial news, knowing where the money is moving around the world. That is so not necessarily like political banter and things like that. It's more so like where the money's moving, what's happening on a global level. For some reason,
I watch some shows like that.
Extremely peaked on like
that makes sense.
knowing.
What is the guy? I forget this guy. He's early. He's Fox Business. Some old British guy. I like him. But he'll get into politics sometimes. Like, nope, I don't want to hear that. Because I just don't feel like it influences me the rate at which. Like, if you can't do anything about it, if you're not, then why even entertain it? You know, like, and there is a lot of things that we can put on our shoulders and we can entertain, man. Like, you know, when the election comes around and all that, like, I'll probably be watching certain stuff. But I just do the mainstream news. I feel like.
You ever thought about getting into politics?
I mean, I kind of did.
Do you watch Tucker Carlson? Is that his name?
Yeah, I mean, I've met
like
Tucker.
I've
met Trump. It wasn't just like a quick, like one of his money raising things. Like it was an influencer meeting where he wanted to talk after he lost the election. I think he was meeting with influencers about learning maybe some ideas what he should do with social media, because he was already planning for this, dude. That's what's funny. People don't realize it. He was in 2021. Yeah, that was the first year where he had lost. I met him, and he had a defeated face. The first time I've ever seen him look like he was somewhat defeated. And this is no cameras. We weren't even allowed to have our cell phones in there, nothing. And it was me, Jake Paul, Dan Bilzerian, Jorge Masvidal.
Crazy lineup.
Aren't the Nelk Boys cool with them too?
Oh, they're really,
Nelk Boys?
I wish they would have been there. I haven't met them.
Oh, okay, because they've met them a few times.
They're real cool with them.
Yeah, he's been on their podcast. I asked him about Ice Spice one time. He's like, "Who is Ice Spice?" I like her.
Yeah. So like, getting into politics, I did go that route. Like I was raising money for certain politicians. They do this Democrat and Republican Party. Behind the scenes, there's influencers that you click a link and they could do it whatever way they want. It was up to me.
Okay.
But I could raise money for a certain politician or get people to sign petitions.
And that checkout money would go
and it
to
pays
their
me.
campaign.
Yeah, and I would get a cut.
Yeah.
I would get a cut for it. And I think that's why like Meta kind of started to really shadow ban me hard too, because no one really even knew. But I would just talk about something going on at the border on my story, like, hey, click this link to find out more, and then the link is what would send you to that business or whatever, basically.
Right.
And so I mean, I got in, but I won't do that again. I won't do it again. I won't. It's just I mean, I still have my beliefs, and they're all my personal beliefs, but like I'm not going to
be part of
just
the
share it like
I'll tell you right now, I hate when it comes time for voting for the president because social media becomes so toxic, and then you see the separation of everybody, and then everyone's like, and it's just such it's a horrible thing and it's nonstop. So Facebook, Larry knows because he had to take a hiatus from Facebook because it's just it gets so bad, and I hate it. And
I used to get sucked in.
How you turn off Facebook but not the news? Oh, you shouldn't see NBC.
Because Larry was voicing his opinion, so he's having debates with people that just got nowhere.
Correct.
Oh, he'd be so deep.
And also, here's the thing about me: like as a human being, and I know certain people hate when people are like this, but I don't necessarily. I more so identify as an independent, right? So I have like some things on the left because I have a heart for people and people who need help when they need it. But then on the other side of the spectrum, it's like I carry a pistol every day. I love my freedoms, and you know what I mean? So it's like I really do. So I don't really subscribe to eat, and so I watch it all, and it's like watching the circus from the outside, and I see what this is going over here. Like even this week in the news, you know, there's a Democratic senator who just got outed for having a bunch of scandals, you know, a bunch of salacious shit going on. And so it's like it's both sides of the spectrum, and I watch it all as one big thing. I don't subscribe to one side or the other, and I try to keep it as objective as I can. I don't get pulled too far into here or too far into here.
So as messed up as both those sides are, and it sucks we have to pick one or the other. It would be nice if we had 4 different, like, you know.
Broken down deep.
Yeah, but
which we do, but the other 2 are never big enough. So there's 4, but the mainstream will only push the main 2.
Independents never even get a shot.
Exactly. And Green Party, they never even make it to the thing. So, you know, with that being said, it's weird, but it is, I follow this page that I really like. It's a political page, and I like them because they'll call out shit on both sides, but at the end of all of their slides, it has this thing, it's called the ratchet effect. And we're seeing it right now with what happened with Trump, and then the left was so pissed off, and then it just made everybody vote for you know what I mean? And then now Biden's in here, and then everybody's sick of it, and now everybody's ready for Trump and it's literally
so we can probably
effect.
agree then.
Trump gonna spin the block.
Do we? Well, I mean, I'm definitely voting for Trump. You know, fine. None of your followers are following me, but like, no, it's just because that's everything I've researched. That's why. But I'll say, why would we empower these people to be even bigger and have more power over us? That's what I'm saying. If they're such a mess, I hope everyone can agree. Do we really want them to be more powerful and to have more of our money, to tax us more, to be more controlling? If they're this much of a mess, why would we want them to be more powerful? Like, they're humans just like us, and a lot of them are worse humans. They're 10 times worse humans than us. Why should they have more power? And that's why I align with more of the conservative values, because they believe in government not being involved with so much stuff. You know, and I trust, like, it comes down, like, who do you trust more, the government or capitalist, big, huge companies? You know, I personally, I don't trust big, huge capitalist companies, but I trust them more than a government, you know.
Fair enough. And on that note, we'll let that sizzle. Jason, I would love for you to let everybody know where they can find you on social media, and please tell them where they can find your new business, any existing businesses. Like, tell us YouTube channel, lay it all on the line.
Yeah, please come check out the YouTube, man. The YouTube is popping. I'm spending a lot of money on editors and videographers. I don't know how to edit. I wish I knew how to edit, but yeah, the YouTube, we've got a lot of cool stuff. You really get to see like what I'm like and what I'm doing with all these different projects and businesses. And I hope I can pass stuff on to you guys just to sharpen your life the same way that people have helped me sharpen mine. So YouTube is my name, Jason Poston. Instagram, Jason Poston Pro. Facebook. I don't do a lot of Facebook. It's my name, and TikTok is the same thing, Jason Poston.
Cool.
Love that. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I think I definitely got a lot of the things that I was curious about answered. I hope that we answered.
Ready to get my blood drawn.
Yes, we definitely need to schedule that. And then I also feel like we need to do like an episode where we like come to the gym and like I want to know what like a real Jason Poston workout looks like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
that'd
will
be
I be
tight.
able to make it through or not? So you guys stay on the lookout for that. We love y'all. Appreciate you. Private conversations, man. We out.